How can something so wrong make me feel so right? So look, I had an interesting conversation recently at work. I work in a predominantly male dominated, you might say, workforce, and I don't mean that with any sort of extra sauce on it, just in terms of sheer numbers, right? And as a result, and it's a blue collar job, and as a result, even though they're trying to desperately make it not, but when women are around, the vibe often changes. You know, and many of them will think that it doesn't change, but that's only because they're not there when it's different.
Right. I mean, right? You don't know the difference.
Correct. Yeah. And many, you know, are like, I'm one of the guys, and often that's not quite the case. It's like there's rings of acceptance, right? And it's not because you're a female. It's really a trust issue, right?
And it's like a tribe issue.
Yes, but
it's just like what was it? The barbecue is not the same when you're there.
Yes,
Probably.
maybe. I don't know any different, you know?
The clan meeting is different when you are not there, when I'm not there.
Yes, I would guess. Maybe. I don't know. You'd have to be awfully adjacent that day.
Hey, everyone wears masks there.
Metaphorically speaking.
Yeah.
So anyway, the thing is that it's usually a trust thing, is what it often is, right? Because you don't want to say something or do something that a woman finds offensive, and then she makes a complaint, and then your job is in peril because of something that you said that could have been relatively harmless in the great scheme of things that are said, right? But so men are often cautious when women are around in those circumstances, and that happened recently. And there was a woman at the table, and she said, "I hate that shit." And I was like, "What?" You know? And then she basically made this argument of, now she's capable of handling any and all male conversation. She's been tested by fire, so to speak. She's been put through the trials. Like, I'm comfortable saying 96% of things that I say around men in front of her. Which is a staggering number. There's probably only one woman on this planet that I'm 100% comfortable, and that's my wife.
Let's make some noise for that.
So, anyway, she basically said, like, it's at the end of the day, it's exclusion, right? Men will exclude her from male conversation because of all of the other shit that goes with it. So they'll change the topic or whatever, or they'll soften the topic, but that's not what she wants. She wants to be around for the real conversation.
Well, it's also just, it's not that you're changing it or solving it. It's just because it's different because she's there.
I mean, it's also a protection thing, right? You're just covering your own ass. So
100%.
It's not about her specifically. 100%.
Yeah. And I raised that also, and she definitely understood that. It's just like, I wish there was like a badge that you could wear.
Like
like a black card, but like a dick card.
Yeah, just like I just said, I'm not going to tell.
Yeah, I mean,
you know,
I can definitely see it from both sides.
Aren't you something?
Bobby loves
aren't
that.
You something?
It's his favorite.
You know, fuck. But yeah, it would be nice if we lived in a world where you weren't.
Right.
You didn't have to
worry about it. Yeah.
Right. If somebody was like, you know what, I don't like this conversation, I'm just going to go to the other room.
Yeah.
Oh, have you read internet comments? It's just like that.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
People just don't comment when they don't want to.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what,
they don't get
internet, the one thing the internet is most like is the real world.
No, the internet is like what's in the real world in people's minds. That's the thing, right? People won't say these things out loud, but they're thinking it.
Well, is
what I mean?
Is that a product of they're creating a space that they want it to be, or is it just the anonymity?
It's the anonymity of it's safety. You can say whatever the fuck you want. Mostly.
But I think it goes the other way too.
Yeah,
where people will say shit they purposefully don't mean because it's the internet and who gives a shit, right?
Oh, and this just makes them assholes.
Yes, or trolls.
And
but there's a lot of them.
Yeah, and
a lot of them.
I think that both are true. Like that QAnon guy. Like he doesn't think any of that. He doesn't give a fuck about any of that. But he just does it to watch the World burn, so to speak.
Yeah.
So that's to say that there is only one QAnon guy,
Well, the main dude,
or the original.
the Asian guy. I don't know how else to say it. So
Have we
there's
found out who it was?
yeah. So like there's this
That's like my
document.
favorite fucking conspiracy theory.
Oh
I don't
really?
know all
So
the
there's
details
it's,
anymore.
So it's great. There's this documentary on HBO Max where they go into it.
it was the pig farmer.
I don't know, but they're like they interviewed. He's not even American.
Yeah.
And like
That's the best part?
and then there's like a dwarf that's associated, that's wrapped up in it too. There's like 3 guys that were originally around, and there's like one guy that really became Q, and they catch him basically at the end where like the cameras are rolling, and the guy's like, so then I just posted up like then Q just posted up. So, and then like there's like silence in the room, and the guy, like the filmmaker, you can hear him. He's like, I fucking knew it. It's great. But he doesn't believe any of that shit.
Yeah.
He's just
trolling.
He's just trolling.
Is there I don't know, moral reprehensibility of like just making things fucked up?
Anarchy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't want to say it's a troll is a bad person, right? There's tons of trolls who are just in it for the fun, but like a lot of times you're just not paying attention or caring for the cost.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but like cynicism is an actual tool, right? Like we see it all the time, especially now with like last week tonight and everything like that. Like sometimes the best way to pull down something that is broken is to be cynical about it.
I mean,
right into to fake play into it, but just to expose how ludicrous it really is.
Yeah, except when then people start believing,
Yes.
like when people when the Onion says that aliens are landing, and people start bringing their guns outside.
Like there's a difference in a broadcast like show where people are in it. You know what you're in for. Right?
Yeah.
If you're watching the Tonight Show or whatever the fuck, you're watching a show. You know that you have to think about this piece is probably, they're not how serious.
Once QAnon became a thing and people started believing it, then your actions are causing something else.
Right. So like at some point, like there's a line.
It's
there.
a weird thing. It's gray. Right, then where is that line exactly? Because at some point you have to kind of expose that most people are fucking dummies and will believe that there's a shadow government, sending cryptic messages through fucking 4chan.
How deep is your state? How deep is your state?
So like that needs to be exposed. That half of these, and especially people,
do we need to
government
expose that? Do we already know that?
No, people in government believed it.
People believe.
It's true.
Like there were Congress people that believed that shit. Like they needed to be exposed for the dummies that they were.
Well, they do. The people in power, yes, for sure. But I thought that we people know the general population is not the smartest.
But what I'm saying is,
and it doesn't. Nothing will help it. Like exposing it doesn't help. Like exposing like people in power or whatever, taking them down or trying to dismantle systems. Yes, but that's a very specific thing.
I'm just saying, like. It was worth the chaos to me to see that there were actual elected Congress people that were like, I take all my cues from QAnon. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah, no, that 100%.
I mean, the whole like AOK being a white power
this fucking
thing
ridiculous.
Came from the Q folks.
Yeah, but it was the same as the Pizzagate.
Yeah. It was all, but everybody. So like that's the thing. Everybody fell for everybody. Like not everybody. The people that were the type to fall for it fell for it on all sides.
So like the thing is like, I mean, he got exposed, but if there was a purpose to all of it, right? At the end,
I don't think so.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, so if there's a purpose to it, great. If there's no purpose to it other than to break things,
because I guess if there's a purpose to it, it's art. In a way,
or
you know what I mean?
or a movement, or something, or purpose, right? Like if you're hurting people just to hurt people for the laugh of it,
right?
With no goal in mind other than just laugh at people hurt.
Yeah, so I don't.
But there's definitely the line when it becomes hurtful because at first you're just like,
yeah, but I'm saying at some point
nobody will believe this, and then you start seeing people believe it. You're like, Jesus, like.
Right, at some point it crosses a threshold where like you might be morally responsible to I don't know, resolve the situation.
Right.
Like, this is all fake, guys. You guys are idiots. You know, just say, like, this is, you guys are fucking dumb.
Yeah.
Well, I've been trolling you.
Yeah.
Now learn
Yeah.
something from this.
Yeah,
You know,
but
instead of
that's-
just
but
letting
that's-
it go.
But that's like the person with the message, right? This, I think that Q ship, for instance, it was happenstance. It was just like, you started rolling this snowball, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, there's a snowman here.
Yeah.
I was just trying to fuck around with this snowball, and now there's a whole snowman.
Fuck around and find out. Like,
Yeah.
And it's also that whole what was that that kind of grifter kind of saying like
And you can't ban the snowman.
no.
That's a adage as old as
What was
2003
it,
or 4 at least.
It would be irresponsible for me to allow this dummy to keep his money. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of the way like nature works. You
Yeah.
know, like here's this dummy with all this money, and he's going to believe that I'm a fucking African prince, and I just need
right.
$1,000 to send him $1 million. Like,
Or these magic beans.
it's the same. It's all
The
snake.
tale
oil.
as old as time.
Yeah, but sometimes it's not someone with a bunch of fucking money. Sometimes it's someone with no money already who's looking for a way. But like just people,
Oh, but he didn't quantify the amount of money.
Yeah.
He just quantified the dummy.
so do dummies need to be punished for being born dumb?
I think some people need to be punished for being dumb. I think some people need to be protected because they're dumb.
But right, it's just like
I mean, I didn't say it was my saying. It's just an old.
yes, yeah. Because like at some point, people are hurt.
Yeah.
like seriously hurt.
Yeah.
beyond what is
I mean,
necessary.
look at those like fake Russian dating sites.
Oh yeah,
You know that like these poor
incels.
swollen bald.
Lonely.
Yeah,
Swollen ball, not bald.
Yeah. Let's not do that, shall we?
Just sending thousands of dollars to
Right.
Ivanka's
yeah. That's this one
twin.
guy that ended up killing his whole family to get more money to send.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But it's I don't. I'm not a good moral compass. I've known this for a while now.
I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. I think that you do have a a moral compass that is fairly strong. I think that sometimes
I don't think it's right. I mean, not that I don't have one, but like I'm pretty.
that's the thing
I
about
don't
morality. There is no real right.
right, I don't trust mine to be.
There's no like
it's
ultimate right.
It's a gray area, like you said.
Yeah.
Right? There's probably something closer to right, and something like majority of society thinks capital punishment is skews towards wrong. And I'm opposite. I don't know. It's a Venn diagram thing with society, right? Where the most people agree is probably for the society was right at the time, and I don't.
Well,
feel like
not
I'm-
always, right?
Right. At the time for them. Yeah. So like I
sorry,
just
we're
don't.
sorry.
I don't trust mine anymore. I don't trust what I think is right to be right anymore.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe. I mean, that's your own personal thing that you got to fight through. But like, I don't necessarily. I think that sometimes I think that you have a strong moral compass. I just think that sometimes your moral compass.
It's wrapped up in passion.
No, it's not even that. But it's that it works best when it's a circle. But every now and then, your moral compass will become a rectangle, and there'll only be room for the arrow to go straight this way.
Yeah.
And there's no room for it to move. And then I think that's when sometimes I push back a little bit against you, but it doesn't. But it's not because of lack of compass. It's usually because of too much compass. Maybe.
That's what I mean. It's skewed. But look back to the lady in the room thing. Like, do you think?
What about the lady in red?
Lady. It's Agent Smith. He's gonna shoot you. That's what I remember. The woman in red. That scene is great. Do you think it's a problem with the room? Just as a thought experiment, because it's just so. If a bunch of white guys will make racist jokes, they don't mean it. It's just for funsies, right? So a black guy walks in, or Asian guy, me, I walk in, and you stop saying racist jokes. I'm not included, right? Because you feel away, but. You stop saying those things? Is it because for some reason those things are wrong, or just because you're going to get in trouble?
Trouble, because that's the difference between the malicious joke and the racist it's funny because it's funny, right? So like, because for me, it's like I'm good for the funny all around, as long as it's funny. But like, I don't know where you are. Not you, but the general you.
Yeah.
I don't know where you.
You is a common Asian name, also. You don't know where.
That's also true. That's also true while we're on the topic. So it's like, I don't know. I can't like if you're having those sorts of jokes, whether it's sexist, racist jokes, whatever the fuck, usually they go in all directions. Like I've never been.
That's what like South Park, right? Because they make laugh at everybody.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever been in a circle of people, so to speak, that have made racist or sexist jokes that it was all one direction. You know,
Great band.
You know, that it's usually like, you know, you make jokes here and then there and then everywhere. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's just that you can't trust the new person, but you might not be able to trust them with jokes that are sexual. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be like just a sexual joke.
Right.
That's not like about gender or preference, but just like a joke about sex or religion or politics. But because you're not comfortable with this person, you don't make the joke. And it's not because the joke makes you an inherently bad person because of, you know, making fun of Trump or Biden or whoever, but just because you don't know if that person can handle it.
Yeah, because that person might relate or be...
Yeah, or feel passionately about one side or the other.
Well, I think the other thing that she might have been saying was like that people assume that she can't be around it or doesn't want to be around it. Right.
But you have to assume that to be safe, right?
Right. It's a double-edged sword.
I mean,
that's why you got to have the I don't tell.
But it's weird because everybody knows what's going on.
Right. Right. But nobody talks about it.
Right.
Right.
So it's like everybody's laughing and joking and it's not quiet and people out in the hallway hear it.
Yeah.
And then somebody walks in and everybody's like,
yeah. And
it's like that same thing happens when the boss
walks in. What do you guys want to do for dinner? What do you guys want to, you know what I mean? You got anybody want to go get dinner or drinks?
I read a great novel the other day.
Did you? What was the novel about?
Oh, it was a fantastic vanilla story about a man planting crops.
You know, and usually you try to like, you know, sometimes you make the joke, like I'll make the joke sometimes. I'll be like, it wasn't about me, was it? Before I came in? Wasn't like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like just, you know, because it's a bit, right? But it is about acceptance and it's about trust, and you do have to earn that. And I do think it is harder if any group is homogenous, right? Like depending on how you want to define that, right? When the outlier to that homogenous group comes in, you got to figure out if it's okay.
And I mean, yeah, that's just part of the that's the part she doesn't want to be.
Correct.
She's not part of the being homogenous.
Right.
She's an outsider.
Right.
Then that's upsetting.
Right.
But it's also understandable. I mean, it's like I said, it's just like if a boss walks in, a normal job, if a boss walks in, the shit you talk about usually is different.
Yeah.
Until you find out your boss is cool. But like there's always a period. Like you have to start at the safest.
Yeah.
And then you slowly inch the line back if you feel like it and see where it comes from.
It's about trust. You got to see if you can trust somebody.
And also at some point is you just worry because that's a fine line, right? I mean, not a fine line. That's a line. At some point, if someone jokes about the same shit, like
all the time,
you like because you know, man, like you think it's funny on fun and games until like later on it's like I think this guy actually is racist.
Yeah.
Have you not? I mean, I've met those guys, and I'm just like, oh.
Well, sometimes I'll have those interactions with people, and I'll be like, oh man, I'm like, I think this person might actually. So two things. Either one, I think this person might actually be racist and not realize
and I know it. Yes, there's those.
But also that this person may not understand what race is. And
race culture debate,
and is talking about.
I think
culture.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah,
like I don't think it's common knowledge.
Yeah,
or common understanding. That things are separate.
You know, like I'll see it on Patreon. Like when I see you know, because some of the conversations specifically at like $10 and higher, you know, they get controversial at times. You know, and like sometimes I'll see like a random name I don't know that, you know, the first name ends in an A, you know, and I'll be like, oh boy, you know, hope she doesn't get her feelings hurt here, you know, because like some of those conversations, if you're not in tune, you know, you could feel a way about it. And it's such a tricky thing. I've had issues over the past year with content and it bothering people. And it's such a tricky thing because like I don't make anything with the intention of hurting anyone's feelings or upsetting anyone. That's never why I do something. But I can't make anything with the idea in mind of purposely not upsetting
Yeah,
anyone,
that's-
because then you lose what it is you're trying to do at all. It's like,
Yeah.
That's like corporate. Like,
Yeah.
you lose so much when you have to censor yourself.
yeah,
Is it sometimes like and I don't know, I don't think this is the word that I want to use, but it's the one that I can think of right now. Like, do you feel, and this is offended, right? When somebody else doesn't take it the right way, so to speak.
I got you. Do I feel offended when somebody misunderstands my
Right.
point,
So like you're making a joke about something
and they take it the wrong way?
and they take it like you are a racist or a sexist or a whateverist.
So I don't
And
think
it's like they don't know me well enough.
Right. No, I get that. I think that I don't get offended. I think that sometimes I get frustrated. Frustrated because I don't think you put your ears on. You know what I mean?
Like you want to hear that sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you came in, you came into this restaurant looking for steak, and now you see a hamburger, but you want steak, and you've decided this is going to be a steak,
right.
without any
Yeah, and a lot of
nuance.
times, like, when I've had people that I thought knew enough about me and have made accusations that I was being closed-minded or bigoted or whatever because of a joke or a
Right.
statement, I'm like, you don't really fucking know me at this point? Like, you think that I,
Right.
all the things that we've done together and the things that I've helped you with, that all of a sudden now I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
this person like is not good enough? Like,
Yeah,
that doesn't make any
I
fucking
had that.
sense at all.
I had that very specific thing happen once with a friendship that I've since mended over the past year and a half. With my buddy Danger, like him and I, were super tight, and we're having a conversation, and I made a statement that was kind of half joking, half serious. And he got offended by it, and then started to wanting to put a IST at the end of a description for me, and it was frustrating because I was like, man, like I can't be both. I tell my wife this all the time, like, she feeds me something, and she's like, how do you like it? I'm like, it's pretty good, and I'm eating it, or I'm like, oh, I like it, and I'm eating it, and she's like, you can put salt on it if you want. You can put. I'm like, look, I said I liked it. She's like, yeah, but you said you liked it. Like, I like it. You didn't say like I really like it. You said like I like it. I was like, well, look, I can't be the guy that you always says gives his brash, unapologetic opinion, and then also be the guy that covers up his opinion that you have to constantly fucking figure out what I'm
Right,
trying to say. I have to be one or the other. I'm willing to be whichever one you want, but whatever charge you give me, I can only take one charge. You can't double jeopardy me.
Yeah.
I think people are used to, in society, having to like veil themselves and having to try to guess other people's intentions in speech, because we all try to be so not PC necessary, but like not hurt people,
Yeah.
or just again protection, right? You don't say everything you want to say, to cover your ass, and then people always have to. What does he mean by that? I think that's very common
Yep.
to have to guess
Yep.
what anyone's saying at any time.
And I think also that, like, I think it's one of the reasons why I've had issues with women a lot of my life, where women, where women haven't liked me, like haven't enjoyed my company. And I do think it's changing, but I think it might be changing because I'm getting older. So like now I make this joke in my mid 40s, or I make this statement in my mid 40s, and women that are like in their 20s and 30s are like, oh, just an old man, just, being old and
Okay, boomer.
being old and crazy. You know what I mean?
I'm like, I'm not that old.
Right. And it's certainly not in my mind anyway. But like,
But when we're teenagers, we think 40-year-olds fucking.
well, that's the thing, is I don't know how much difference I'm having in my mind. But I think that, Laura said this once, that like, a lot of times men talk to women like they want to fuck them. Not that they're actively trying to fuck them, but that, you know what, I'm going to talk to you a certain way because one day the circumstance might arise where I might be trying to fuck you.
I mean, it's a lizard brain. You can't help it.
Right. And I don't. I talk to women just like they're anybody else. And then
But you would fuck them.
Yeah.
That's the difference, right?
Well, it's not indicative that I wouldn't.
No.
Yes.
Right, exactly. But like, that's an unspoken thing that's always there.
So-
Mostly.
It reminds me of this. I know this might be slightly different, but so I was in a bar. Shocking. And this is like, I don't know, 8 years ago, something like that. And it's like a packed bar. There's like one bar stool on this side, there's one bar stool over there, and this 20-something girl comes in, and I see her walking over, and she says like, "Hey, is that seat available or whatever?" And I was like, "Yeah, you can sit there." And then just because I'm a nice person, I was just like I just ordered food or something. I was like, "Do you need a menu?" And she was like, "I'm not trying to fuck you." Like right away, and I was like, "I'm not trying to fuck you either."
You should have been like, that makes one of us.
And it got to the point where I originally I did find out that she was kind of hitting on me. But she was like, "Oh, you're not trying to? Why not?" And I was just like, "Because I don't really give a fuck. Like I'm here to drink." Mm-hmm. And she's like, "Oh, it sounds like somebody with a big dick would say that." And I was like, "Well, I'll stand up and say I got a little dick." She's like, "No, you won't." And in a crowded bar, stood up, I was like, "Got a little dick," and I was like, "See, nobody cares." Like, can I get another beer?
Yeah. But I think that because I've always maneuvered that way. Not always. I think when I was a younger person, I did. But then after I got locked in with Laura, I was kind of like, oh, well, at this point, just talk to people how you want to talk to them. Within reason. Don't be rude or nasty for no given reason. Mm-hmm. You can keep the sword sharp if need be, but no need to just go around hurting people's feelings. I wouldn't do that. But but I don't talk to you like I have like I don't talk to women. I think a way that women are often spoken to, and I think to some women that is off-putting, but then some women end up coming back around to it, like, oh, this is actually a cool interaction to have with a human being that's not. Well,
I said all that because I think a lot of women think that every bit of conversation from men is a ploy to sleep with them.
Mm-hmm. I think,
and I don't think unjustly so.
Yeah, that's a problem. That's a problem. Yeah.
Well,
a lot of people,
kind of is unjustly so because you just said that you aren't, and I've said that I
right, but I said mostly. I
don't. Right, no, it's from my life experience because I've talked to girls who we see sometimes that lady, the girl, kind of overreacted, right, saying I'm not trying to fuck you, kind of thing, but it's because throughout her years of life, since she's become sexually attractive,
right,
she's day in and day out having had to deal with that. Even if only 2 out of 10 men try to fuck her every single day that she meets, that's a lot of interaction you have to deal with. So you just end up having this fucking wall of I don't want to deal with this. Anytime, we don't know because we're not fucking women. We don't get approached like that. I don't. Mm-mm. I don't get approached by the opposite.
Comes a shock. Neither do I.
I don't want to assume.
I'd take it.
Right. Yeah.
A little bit at least, right? I feel good about myself.
I'll give you such an. I'm gonna compliment you to give you such a confidence boost.
So this gender population having to deal with that their entire adult lives all the time. They get. You're fed up with that, and you end up having a overreaction, sure, but it's kind of comes from
going through life like that though. So
exactly.
I feel for him, right?
Yeah,
every interaction you have, you're like Jesus Christ, keep your dick in your pants,
well,
because you haven't had people just walk up to you all the time. Because
no, but I'm here for that.
Right,
but
no,
yeah, but imagine just dudes all the time. Just
but that's not the circumstance though. Right, because it's not like it's purely happening to lesbians.
Right. No. I mean, it's unwanted.
Right, but what I'm saying is, if so you it's on the burden of that is on the man, right? Which is fair because it's a cat and mouse game, and
that's how nature works.
That's how
we were set up.
Yeah. So to a point, it's okay. Well, it's okay to. Is it not okay to give it a shot? It's the.
But that's the gray area. You have to shoot your shot, but then also these ladies have been dodging shots. They've been dodging a lot of bullets.
Yeah, but to me that sounds like, it's I don't know.
I talk to a lot of women. I'm surrounded by women, and I just kind of I have more of a feel for them and their plight because unlike you, I work in an environment where it's full of women, and I have been included. Thankfully, they talk about woman talk with me. Around and I hear them talk to each other, and then these things come up, and I'm just like, man, I get it. Well, they're also in Baltimore, so it doesn't fucking help.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's it's
just being walked up to on while you're just trying to pump gas and having to fear. It's like
fear. So how much of that is self-imposed, right? Because I do feel like I get into those conversations sometimes where I'm like, would you rather be alone with a man or a bear?
definitely not a bear.
Yeah,
Definitely not a bear.
Yeah, right. Always not a bear.
But always not a bear.
Yeah.
But a lot of these women will say like, "Oh, a man for sure. I would rather be with a bear for sure." Like,
because they don't know
the bear's gonna fuck you up.
Well, I think that's part of the problem of society of being raised Disney. Like people who just walk up to, they will just walk.
That's
man,
true.
people will just fucking walk up to animals. People
Right.
just do not fucking
right. No, I
respect animals. Even
He's so
feral cats.
soft, though.
Even feral.
As much as I love cats, I wouldn't walk up on a feral cat.
Don't walk up on me.
Of course not.
But people will.
Of course.
People will fucking walk up to random animals. So
These claws are sharp, buddy.
they've never seen a bear in real life. It's also probably.
Mm.
They don't. Bears are actual monsters. If you think monsters don't exist, go up to a bear.
Yeah.
That's a fucking real life
So
monster.
I think that sometimes like that shit gets blown out of proportion. But like you know, it's like I understand that it's a nuisance, right? I get it, but it's like it's also a nuisance to have to be the one to always look for it too.
Yeah, but it's crazy how forward some guys are.
Absolutely.
Holla, holla, let me holla at you.
so like that's the thing is like you can't teach tact, you can't teach how to read a room, you can't teach personal skills, like you know, so you're gonna get the weirdos, right? It's no different. Like so
We don't get those weirdos is the thing. Not as much.
now. All right, so let me flip the script.
Yeah.
I'm at my table at TFCon. Now what?
Well, you put yourself.
Now what?
Yeah, you're a captive audience because you have a booth.
Right, but people are still even if I was just walking around in my mask.
Yeah.
If I was just walking around in my mask, I'm going to get a gamut of people coming up to me, and some of it's just how humanity works.
Yeah.
Some of them are going to be
People are
super
fucking-
cool.
yeah.
And some of them are going to be super weird.
Some of them are listening right now.
You know, so-
Some of them are typing an email response right now.
you know? It's like
It's the truth, man.
It's like some of this shit is like I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. I do.
But that's why everyone have to give more grace.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
Like you have to see both sides.
Hey,
Aren't you something?
2020 vision, buddy.
If everybody sees both sides, it might be a little bit better.
20 in the, some people usually think it's near and far, but nope. 20 in this one, 20 in that one. So Joe, you got your coffee first. Farrell, how was your nerd week?
Okay.
Oh, I
Well, so
forgot
it's
we're
actually
supposed to talk about nerd shit.
like 2 weeks, right? Because I missed last episode.
Oh, you finished the Expanse?
I did.
So I got to cut in. So I'm getting this new table, right?
Yes.
So I got an update video footage of the table done, and I wanted to send it to you guys.
Yeah.
I got so pissed with Facebook for like probably 10 minutes because I was like, they've just deleted our chat. But it's now called some other shit that has to do with the Expanse. It has like a picture of some guy that I'm like, for all I know, he's like, you know, so like, I'm like, man, what the fuck is this shit? I'm like looking for it, and I'm like, oh yeah, they changed it to some
Pinkerton did
Expanse. Yeah.
Don't you feel included now?
Oh yes. Speaking of Pinkerton, he is on assignment today, but he did write in nonetheless. And
I guess Pinkerton gets to go first. That's fine.
yeah, sorry. Just so I don't forget more so. There we go.
Hey, Joey, I don't know if you heard or not, but John Cena turned heel at the WWE show over the
I
weekend.
actually did hear.
Nobody saw it coming.
Okay. Sorry. So you finished The Expanse.
So it wasn't in my notes, but I mean,
How is that on your notes? Hello?
because I finished it the last time I was out. I talked about
Oh,
it.
did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were still working through it.
I thought you were
No.
working through it.
Because then you started it.
That was in chat. That wasn't on air.
Oh.
That
does get
you started getting
confusing.
mixed up. Yeah.
It's also been so long. Like it's been
2 weeks.
11 days.
No, I'm on season 5. I'm on the last season. I just started last season last night.
So season 5 was probably my favorite.
That was fucking great.
But I can see how, like, you know, Pinkerton likes 3 and 5. 4 is a little bit weird. But 5 was definitely good. It's in the same vein as a lot of things where I feel like things get wrapped up in an awkward way.
On season 5?
Yeah.
At the very end?
Yeah.
It was a little bit awkward.
right? So it's just like some of those things.
It was
like,
some abrupt stuff.
yeah, and I think that all of it has to do with just like, hey, look, last season, finish up what you want to finish up, and you've got 17 minutes of screen time to do these two things. So it's like, what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. But yeah, it just kind of sucks when you spend like 4 full seasons like blowing this storyline up to get a 5-minute like
Recap, basically.
like fucking stamp
Yeah.
it, it's done, package it, gone by. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, season 6 is starting out to be very interesting too. But
Yeah.
that's the last season, right?
Yeah.
I fucking people don't underestimate also how scary space is. I think people don't realize just how fucking awful space is. People like want to be astronauts and stuff a lot and think spacewalks are cool, but I've always known it's awful to be up there.
So that part where
Sometimes it's awful even before there.
Yeah,
that part where she went ship to ship without a suit bothered the shit out of me.
Princess Leia did it.
Huh?
Princess Leia did it just fine.
Yeah, it's just
Force.
Yeah, I mean she was fucked up, but I think she should have been more fucked up. At least.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or
But
if
she
they
was
would've-
pretty
if they
fucked
would've-
up,
if
yeah.
they would have made the travel distance and the amount of time she was out there
Shorter.
significantly shorter.
Yeah, it was a bit long.
But yeah.
Because you see people get space die pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But I mean, she did have to highly oxygenated blood or whatever to keep her from passing out, or from dying from lack of oxygen. But like being out in space is rough.
Yeah. So I mean, some of that stuff, and then there's also
Allegedly.
yeah, I'm not sure we've even been there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a real thing.
The moon landing was faked.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so that was my only qualms, and like again, the whole like talking to each other out in space because we put our fucking helmets close enough together that
Yeah.
you can hear. I'm like, that doesn't work.
Well, I mean, just space sounds in general, all the explosions and shit and guns. You wouldn't hear
Yeah,
any of
it'd
that.
be silent.
There's
That's the one thing about what was that show, that movie?
Star Trek.
No. It had
Star Wars.
Interstellar,
no,
Deep Space Nine, I believe.
Gravity
maybe Gravity,
with George Clooney and Sandra Bullock.
Yeah.
Yes.
where like
Was silent.
they were outside the ship,
Yeah.
and then like debris hit their ship, and it was like they purposely did it silent.
Yeah.
Like, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. it is
Yeah. That was cool. That was a movie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Just because like that much shit happening right in front of you, and there is no sound.
Right.
Yeah. Use it. Yeah. But using it sparingly has a great effect. But I think using it in an action series would be.
It's more jarring.
Yeah. Would be more jarring.
Yeah.
But I think the space battles are done extremely well in a show.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Like, they're
like the
fucking
rail
great.
guns, and
Just the physics of it.
yeah.
People dying from stroke from going too fast.
Well, I think Pinkerton brought up that he died because he was doing inappropriate things with women, and that's what caused the stroke.
Maybe.
Syphilis. Stage 4.
Civilization and civilization evolved together.
So I don't know when we started recording.
About 37 minutes and 50 seconds ago.
Was that my random thought of are my favorite songs by gay guys?
That was before.
No, it was
That was
before.
Yeah, so I wrote that down. I don't know why.
And then we started naming off all the great gays.
Right, all the great gay.
Not all the great.
I mean, a lot. We started trying to go through the great.
Yeah.
We had the Queen, we had Wham.
Yeah, Queen.
Elton John. One of
I'm
my
not huge.
favorites.
Are you a huge Elton John fan? He's not really my. I love I'm Still Standing.
That's one of my favorite
Yeah,
songs.
I love
Yeah.
that one. I love that one.
Yeah.
Boy George.
Yeah, Culture Club was great. I like Queen. I mean, Queen is great. Queen is probably Are they the best?
Arguably.
The
Yeah.
best gays? Is that what you said?
No, not the best gays. not like the best gays of all time, but like best
best band.
gay musician / band, or I guess they're not all gays, just Freddie Mercury, right?
Yeah.
But
And I think he would have said bye.
yeah, I think you're right, actually.
Yeah.
But gay enough for this conversation. I feel like split hairs. You know?
It's like on our meter, it's either you are or you aren't.
I think he might have it.
It's like, have you sucked a dick and enjoyed
Oh, Luther. Luther's in that conversation.
Yeah.
it? I didn't even think
Yeah.
he was gay.
Came out way late in the game.
Okay,
'cause,
came
he has
out
some of the
after-
greatest like love songs of all time.
Right. And you're like, oh
Yeah.
shit. Like, man, I fucked to that.
Luther's in that conversation.
So that's an interesting question too. Like,
There's a couple of dudes.
so like, I was 18 in 2003. So I was like hooking up with my girlfriend in 2001 Chocolate Factory.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly. And it's
Great album.
Yeah, and like I fucked a lot to that album. And,
Yeah.
And then like it comes out as like not good anymore to listen to it. And I'm like, oh, I still got some pretty good memories.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't play that shit, man. Like,
but like so like
Don't
if,
ca-
if
like-
somebody else is like their song with their significant other, their heterosexual significant other is Luther Vandross, and they're like, oh no.
yeah, I mean, and it's like, man, like, I like
That doesn't.
if Beethoven ended up being some fucking monster, like it doesn't make his music any less brilliant.
So I mean, I like that thought, but there are people that can't separate.
Yeah.
Yes,
artists
for
from
sure.
from
But it's like I can't go through life that way, man. Where it's like, okay, so where does it stop, right? So it's like, all right, so the key grip in Star Wars ends up being a fucking monster.
Yeah.
It's like now I can't watch Star Wars because the key grip wasn't. It's like,
Well, it's not. You can't. Well, you shouldn't police other people,
Mm.
but if you feel a way, and if you hear that shit and it makes you feel a way, you don't listen to it.
yeah, no, of course,
right.
But that's not
I don't
the
think there's
issue.
anything wrong with that.
No,
But
not at
telling
all.
people not to.
Exactly.
It might be a bit much. Yeah.
Because I just don't know where you draw the line. It gets
Yeah.
to, the
'cause it's
amount
a-
of people that have their hands involved in any given project.
Yeah, it's full of shitty people.
Yeah.
The world's full of shitty people.
Yeah, and great people, and hilarious people, and brilliant people, and funny people, and fucking. Also, the world is filled with a wide gamut of people, and sometimes those people suck, and sometimes they're great. But it's like if you look at like who made this piece of paper, like who works at fucking Xerox. And it's like, okay, well, turns out this one guy, he's on the loading dock. He's the one that shipped it in It's like, well, okay, so now I can't use paper because this fucking guy, it's like, where do we draw the line?
We don't, because we like have stuff that's like made by sweatshops and child fucking.
Yeah, and we don't skip
everywhere.
a fucking beat.
Yeah, but like that's like their hands are so small and they can
I know. Bobby used to have me come help him do Transformers stuff.
It's a matter of logistics, really. The ends justify the means. It's awful.
It's awful. But funny. So another class done, right? So
Of the
that's why-
8-hour day lecture.
Yeah,
20
that's the why I was on assignment last week.
Yeah.
Was another class.
Yeah.
Significantly better. Different instructor, different topic, but significantly better.
Well, good.
Which was kind of nice that I ended, because I'm not going to take classes for a while. And it was nice to end on that note where I didn't walk away from it being like, I want this whole fucking system burned down to the ground.
So many systems like that.
Yeah. So during that class, though, my email for work just didn't work anymore.
Oh, like you can't sign on, or you're just not receiving?
Like removed from my phone.
Oh,
Really?
Like I go to my work laptop
I'd have been like, I'm fired.
and can't. So
That would have been where my mind.
like,
went.
oh, fuck.
I'm fired.
I had customers call me and be like, "Hey, weird question. Did you get fired?" And I'm like, "Let me call you right back.
I'll let you know.
I gotta find out." So it turns out that when my company built my new website and got it hosted, we went through like a third party, design person, and they took the email, put it under there because it's a Google G Suite kind of program, put it under them as an administrator. Right. And then we fired that person and they never transferred it back.
that happens more than you think.
Right. So I've gone through every single way that I can online to get in contact with Google to be like, can you please give me back control of this email? And they all end with no,
No, yeah. Security
is-
purposes.
which is fucking crazy. Right. So all my work email, all my contacts, everything is just in limbo.
Yeah, I've had to deal with this before. I mean, I have to deal with this kind of problem a lot of times before, but like I also understand it because it's a security thing. Like you just can't. If you make an exception of allowing somebody to access something, then it's a slippery slope of just letting people access things.
Yeah, but there's also it needs to be some way for you to correct it.
Well, the problem is emails or e-identity in general are too easy to create. There's nothing that ties it to you as a person. You don't link your driver's license to it, your social security, nothing. There's nothing you can prove that is you, right? Because you just fucking create one. So the best safety is you don't let anybody access it that can't access it.
So the crazy thing is I created the email account, right? Like I was the original creator. I had control of it. And then I was asked by my company,
right,
to give, and I was like, I don't like this.
Yeah, and you shouldn't have had to. And this company should deal with it. But like, once you relinquish control, like, you mean just like you give somebody something, you can't take it back.
I just wish Google had a way of being like, we can recognize that.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they can recognize the device.
Administrative controls were transferred at one point.
Yeah, but there's no proof of you saying why it should be transferred back.
Yeah, it's just.
Do you know? Like, so I understand the frustration because, like I said, I have to deal with that. It's very frustrating, but I understand why I don't think they're doing it to be assholes. They're doing it to like be safe.
Yeah,
but I don't think. I just think they need a lot more work on it. Like,
I think there should be multiple kinds of e-identity. Like the. Not that the blue check mark is a fucking great thing, but if you have something that ties your fucking identity to something, then you have a leg to stand on.
Well, there's also like,
just because you own something before doesn't mean you own it now.
The ability to just make contact with these people.
Yeah, because
like you can't even make contact.
Yeah, you can't talk to anybody.
Yeah,
there's a form that you submit, and then they responded back like, "Sorry,"
and it's automated. It's not even a real answer. It's like
because they're probably getting hundreds of thousands of these requests.
Then you need to hire more people. Because it's a customer service issue, right? Like if it was any other thing, right, where it was like, like if it was any like a restaurant or anything, they'd be unacceptable.
But it's an end user problem, though. If you think about it, like they didn't cause a problem for you. You had a problem, or somebody caused you a problem, and you're asking them to fix it. They didn't do nothing.
Not necessarily. I've had plenty of problems.
This specific problem.
Well, this specific problem, but
that's what I'm saying.
But I think this is indicative of a larger problem with just the ability to contact these major companies that have become so intertwined with your ability to just be successful in life that like then when you have a problem you can't even get them on the horn. Like you can't
even talk to anybody.
It's like that to me is unacceptable.
But so the interesting thing that came out of this was I recently started using ChatGPT, right? And I've been comparing because I like Google like how do I fix this, and it comes up with like message board posts and fucking nonsense, and I'm like sifting through Google results, and I was like, hold on, let me just ask ChatGPT. So I was like, hey, I can't access my Gmail account. It's under a G Suite. What should I do? And it like step-by-step instructions like try this, try that. Here's a link to this form. You have to log in with this and that, and like actually helped. And like that's interesting. And then I wondered,
that's great.
So then I had another conversation with another person about it, and I was like, I'm wondering, like, because I've noticed that Google results have been
maybe
worse.
Google is what's broken.
No, but like I feel like it's been worse. Like just Google searching.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And I think it's because there's so much AI content generated that it's skewing the original search algorithm.
Yeah, the AI.
I think it's money.
The AI is learning shit from bad AI. Like it's a self-feeding of bad information thing. Like if you tell the AI to learn from bad information, it's going to spit out bad information, and then the loop repeats.
But there's just like so much content that it's like, well, this touch it.
When that's part of the problem. How many like words are being typed right now that's being stored somewhere in the fucking net? Like I just don't understand. I understand how it works, but just the amount of pictures that's being taken right now, every day, generated, and it's all saved somehow, somewhere, in the world, physically, it's crazy. And then asking a fucking program to sift through the infinite amount of information and find what you want, that's already magic that they can do that at all.
Yeah, but I think I agree with you, but I also think that like so much of it, like if I'm like, what is an anchor? And then it's like buy an anchor on Amazon. It's like that's
problem.
This is a business situation that's preventing me from getting the information, from accessing your tool properly.
Yeah.
Because you're getting cut a check behind closed doors.
Right. But that's why you need competition. Go to instead of asking Google about me, why don't you ask Jeeves?
I'm bringing back.
Why don't you-
Is Jeeves still up?
I don't know. Why don't you ask
Let's see.
Quora?
I don't even know. What that is.
Alta Vista?
I never met her.
Yahoo.com?
I'm gonna see if Jeeves is still around.
Jeeves.
Ask is still there,
It's still there.
Yeah, see?
but there's no Jeeves.
No, it's just ask. It's just
Jeeves got
ask.com.
fired.
He
Poor
died.
Jeeves.
But see, but like if you maybe I'm not saying that these are good engines, right? But you're so ingrained to Googling everything that it's
Right.
become a verb that you're not even trying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is perhaps Google is what's broken.
Right. So like, there's no competition, right?
I don't know,
But ChatGPT is great.
ChatGPT, I think, is a closed system now.
Oh, it helps.
So what I'm saying is it if it was closed off before the flood of AI generated content, that's why it's more effective, because it's looking at just if you went back to a snapshot in time of the internet and started asking questions where it didn't have all the bad information.
But I mean, the problem is the internet, regardless of AI, but internet is full of bad information. Have you ever fucking gone onto a fucking subreddit and just seen the answers, quote unquote answers people post that are completely fucking wrong? I mean, that's feeding into the AI too.
Sure.
You know,
But
I also feel like Reddit has more dependable answers than fucking Google sometimes.
it's true. Well, that's what they say, right? You go ask a question on Reddit and you post the wrong answers and you get people flooding in with the right ones because people just can't fucking stand.
And you can always just check the upvotes.
Yes, that's it. Yeah, but I mean, have you guys started getting the near people AI calls yet? I started getting them at work. It even takes me a fucking second to realize it's not a person. They're getting pretty good. They even
What are
have
they selling?
accents.
Oh,
They
really?
even have accents.
are they
I mean, I work at pharmacy, so it's like pharmaceutical related things. But it would take me maybe a couple of sentences before I realize, because they answer back. If you ask them a question, or he's like, "Oh, what's the date of birth?" or "One brand name, what's your name?" They will answer questions, but something catches me. It's the uncanny valley, just like seeing something that's almost real. Like I can catch it, but I can imagine a lot of people not catching that they are talking to a robot now. We are living in we're getting close to Ghost in the Shell, and I'm here for it.
So the only things I've been watching are air disaster shows.
Okay.
Like, oh wait, like
It's called air disaster.
real plane crashes, or like when people are like trick flying and then run into each other.
This is like the investigation of a commercial crash.
You have no plan to fly, or you just don't give a fuck.
No, I've like 3 flights coming
Yeah,
up.
cool.
I just enjoy them for some reason.
No, yeah.
I do not.
So I watched the MH370 documentary, which is still crazy to me that we haven't figured out.
Just a lot of things.
Is this the one that went missing?
Yeah, the
Yeah, it's just
Malaysian
gone.
plane.
Yeah, that was like 10 years ago at this point.
Yeah, something like that. But like just
Nobody knows.
777 fully loaded people just
Gone.
I mean,
and the amount of like weird shit in that story.
But break it down. Give me some deets.
Bermuda Triangle, is that still a thing? That was a concern when I was a child.
Yeah, me too.
Not for this flight. So so plane takes off, gets to its cruising altitude, gets to the point between where they're going to be entering Thailand's airspace. So the air traffic controller, does the normal handoff, like, hey, you're going to be switching over to this frequency and talking to this tower, like, have a good night. Like, okay, good night. Somehow the transponder gets turned off for the plane.
And Palpatine returned.
And it never lands. Right. So then they come out and say, the military releases some information that it then turned, right, and flew back over where it came from. And then they lost track of it and they don't know where it is. So then they find out that there's this system on the plane that tracks like maintenance and things like that, and it just communicates with the satellite,
Just like cars do.
right? And just sending pings, right? So based on that data, they have a because all it's saying is how long the response took to get back, so they can figure out how far it is. So they have 2 projected flight paths, one up into Asia and one just straight south into the Indian Ocean where there's nothing. And that's all the information they have. Right. So then they start going through like, well, unless it, like the only way the transponder stops functioning is either something catastrophic happens and the plane crashes. So they go look where that transponder stopped signaling. They don't find anything. Then they get the MRSAT data that says, no, it turned around and we have it over here. But then that means that somebody turned it off purposefully in the cockpit. So then they start looking at, was it hijacked? Was it, the pilot just killing themselves and everybody on board? And all this weird stuff comes out. Like this is back when the general internet folk were trying to like help.
Yeah. I remember that era.
So it's like, so they
Internet detectives.
Yeah, they had this group of people. They're like, and it kind of makes sense. They're like, hey, there's thousands and thousands of satellite images over just this vast ocean that we can't sift through. So if you want to sign up to do it, we're just going to put it on the screen and you say, yes, there looks like there's plane debris, or no. And every one that you say yes, somebody else looks at it. No, they just put it to the side because we need thousands of people just to click like, oh, nope.
Right.
Blue water.
You can get to do that now.
So like a woman in that says that she did see plane debris and she marked it and like she took pictures of it, and then they were able to figure out that it's where the original search area was where the transponder got turned off. And then this other crazy fucking dude.
Crazy internet person, you say?
No, he's like, so he says, I talked to oceanographers, I talked to people, and I said, hey, look, if the plane crashed where the satellite data says it was, where it crossed back over, where would debris have washed up?
I remember them looking for washed up debris.
And they were like, oh, you should go to this small island and go look. And he was like, okay. And he went there. And he found the first fucking
Are you serious?
piece. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he just started going to other places they suggested. And then all of a sudden, this guy has found like 80% of the.
I remember. You don't remember them
parts.
finding pieces? Okay.
But then it gets even weirder because he finds this part, or the first part they found some flapper on.
Flapper.
Yeah, I know what a flapper on is. So they find it. That was like the first part that they find, but it's missing the plate on it that says that it's part of this plane. And they're like, it's riveted to the piece, like glued in. It's supposed to be permanent so that they can identify plane parts. The only time it's removed is if the plane is decommissioned. So they can't identify where the plane came from, like where that part came from. So then they start saying like
It's fake debris.
it's fake debris.
Yeah.
So then it comes
There's
in
tons
this,
of dismantled planes you can get parts from.
yeah, but it's crazy. It's a crazy story, and it's still unresolved.
And there's no one important on that plane.
No, but they did say there was important cargo.
And they don't know what the cargo is.
So
somebody knows what the cargo is. Was
there was like
that? That would helps. That would help to know what that is.
there was some unscanned electronic parts because the flight was going to China.
Oh, China.
And they so then somebody said, the other thing is that it's crossing the China Sea, the South China Sea, while the U.S. is conducting military drills with South Korea. So it's like, it's not a space that is like, that nobody was paying attention to. Like,
There's so much stuff going on.
500 miles to the east is like a destroyer that's definitely fucking tracking them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's just a really interesting story of. So that documentary, I think it was on Max.
Oh wow, I'm gonna check it out.
Goes through like the 3 major categories of what it could have been.
Was aliens one of them?
So there were people that were claiming,
Aliens took them.
yeah,
I mean, it depends on what the electronics was. The aliens could have taken them.
but it's just
Wow.
an interesting.
It's crazy.
And then then it cuts to like the families, and then like the human tragedy. Brings it all real, and you're like, oh, I shouldn't be enjoying this.
yeah.
And the last thing I have on here is a friend of mine asked me to be the best man at his wedding.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
Yeah,
Do I know this friend?
yeah.
Who?
Do you can't stay on air?
Oh, or is Oh, really?
Yeah,
I didn't know that that was
yeah.
that close. Well, congratulations to him. I guess it's still a secret.
Yeah, I don't know who he's told and everything like that. So
Fair
I wanted
enough.
to be the
That's
one.
touching.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. That's cool.
So now I got to write a speech.
Yeah. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
I've got the gift. of
If
gab.
not, I know there'll be someone else there that wouldn't mind talking.
Both of them.
Yeah.
How awkward is it to be asked to be the best man when you're like, don't even think you're that close?
Oh, I've only been asked one other time, and it was a really good friend of mine also.
Yeah. I mean, imagine it would be weird. Someone asked you to be their best man, and then you're like, in your mind's like, we're not even that close.
Yeah, I mean,
That happened to me one time.
really?
Oh, a long time ago. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Because then in my mind, it's like you either have nobody else other than me, or you think we're closer than we are,
Yeah.
which is both awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah. My brother, it's like an easy way to go, right? Because like
Hey,
you're
somebody-
going to be tied to your brother forever. My brother was the best man at my wedding. And he gave a horrible speech, but it's fine.
So the only best man speech I've given was fantastic. I had props.
Props. Oh,
People came up to me afterwards like, that was fucking great.
Yeah. Perfect.
how are you gonna live up to that now, though?
Oh, I'm writing. ChatGPT is helping.
Nice.
But that's all I got.
What about you, Uncle Dolphin?
So yeah, Expanse season 6, episode 2. So
Look at that, twice in one episode.
probably gonna plow through that. But I'm sure done by that time I get back. We get back next time, and then Penguin hopefully will be here, and the three of us can talk about the show because we've all watched the whole
God
thing.
willing.
I don't want to know anything about the ending, but was it satisfying? Did you enjoy the ending? Did it live up to the journey?
hard
Which
to
is
close.
hard. It's hard.
Better than a lot, but not the best.
Okay. I mean, I'll take that because the best is a high bar, right? Just good is good enough for me.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say the ending was as good as the show was.
That's mostly, right, the case. How many...
But I've definitely seen shows where the ending was better than the build up. Like the
That's
ending
crazy.
made it.
Oh, the ending made, like... Is it like I see dead people. They're everywhere.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's
That makes... I mean, that's... Shit like that would make, the
That's
journey.
what made the story.
Yeah.
that 6 Feet Under ending. That's the best one I've ever seen. That's the best television ending I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. Now I'm weird because I like the way The Sopranos ended.
Yeah, so I don't hate the way The Sopranos ended, but I definitely don't think the ending to Sopranos was as good as the show.
No, but I think it was appropriate. Like to me, it was the best ending they could have had.
Is that a cop out though? Any ending where you just abruptly stop is better than a bad ending, right?
No, but I think it's important because it would open too many questions.
There should have been in my opinion, that whole season should have been a bigger war between between New York and Jersey. There should have been an all-out mob war, and then have it close that way. That season in general, I didn't think it was bad, but I was like, I feel like this could have been something more.
Yeah, but then
They gave Johnny Sack's wife a hard ass time in that show.
Yeah, but what's next? You gonna fuck her?
like she would they was coming, they were like, oh, put the rolls away, they like. Can you imagine being the actress? This guy's still fuck with you, right?
Yeah. So didn't he go and say to the boss like can you believe that they said this about her?
Oh yeah,
And that was his line, right? Like if they're allowed to do this, like what's next? He's just gonna fuck my wife.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I was somewhere yesterday and for a long time, and while I was there, I can't give too much details about it, but while I was there was a guy walking around with a robe and then a jacket over his robe.
Oh, it's Joey.
Yeah, that's definitely me.
And it made me think about there was like a mob guy that like used to take a walk every day in his robe, and like he would like lick the mailbox and shit, and like and he had like a handler, so to speak, with him every day, and he did it every fucking day. And then when he finally got pinched, he pleaded insanity and beat the fucking charge.
Oh, because
He was playing it the whole time.
yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
I mean, I don't think it's common, right? For shows to end where fucking matches how good a show.
I think that's what makes a great show.
Yeah, but it's not common.
No.
So like, there's not something to be
not
expected.
many-
something
not many
we
great
want.
shows.
Something we want, but
Not
not something to be
everything can be
expected.
great, or else they're all just average.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even great shows,
Yeah,
that
sure.
don't have great endings, right? Even shows that people love.
Well, then they're great with an asterisk.
Right.
and there's a lot of them. But I remember now I started taking the break from the show after starting to watch it again, is because it's like it deals psychic damage. Because do you know how I'm? I mean, I have a certain view on people as a whole, nihilism, cynicism, whatever. And when I watch things that are, I think part of why I like anime, I think if I have to think on it, is that it's so far removed that I can just
Yeah.
be in the media.
I have complicated thoughts about that with you, but go ahead.
Whereas, like, the closer something is to something I can relate to the real world, the more riled up I get. The more.
This is the reason why I didn't like Deadpool and some of the other super like that genre, because it's like if the universe is the one that we live in now, then they don't exist, right?
Yeah.
And you have to change the way that people react to them, the way that we would if all of a sudden they did exist.
Yeah.
It wouldn't just be like in Deadpool, like the bad guys are just like shooting, like they know he's not going to get fucking killed.
Right.
Like, unless he's brand new today, this is the first time. Like, you wouldn't.
Yeah, but there is a learning curve to learning your enemy, right?
And Deadpool is not the biggest name,
So, like-
right? And that even in the world,
Lex has to like figure out Superman's weakness.
Right. What I'm saying is, in a world where there are where there are superhuman creatures,
God's amongst us.
you wouldn't act the way that you do now.
No, but I think some of that is addressed though. Like that's one of Lex's issues is that Superman has robbed mankind of his ambition.
Right.
Right. So like, why should a firefighter train any harder when Superman's just going to come to Metropolis and blow the fire out? Why should a cop work on his targeting practice when Superman's just going to come and fucking snatch the robber?
At least they're addressing it. But then, you know, especially in the newer movies, like people are still doing stuff that they like. If all of a sudden there was somebody that could get shot infinitely amount of times and just regenerate and be fine, how fast do you think that information would make it across the planet?
but you're talking about one of one, though, right? We're talking one of many, and when supers are like not everywhere, but like it's common. Like I think you also think about it differently because humans are very good at adapting and getting used to things, right? Like. Same reason why people still fucking try to rob banks regardless of all the cameras and shit. It's like it doesn't fucking matter at some point. People will do shit because people are people.
And a lot of these superheroes aren't getting involved in day-to-day crimes, right?
There's only so many of them.
Yeah,
But
like-
then when some dude shows up with a fucking mask on, you wouldn't shoot at him.
So I don't know because you never know, right? So like if you shoot at Daredevil, you'll kill him.
Yeah.
But if you shoot at Spider-Man, you're not.
Because, okay, think about this, like, as big as the Marvel movies are and everything, they're pretty worldwide, right? Like, there will be people who won't know the difference between Spider-Man and Deadpool. You be showing a picture. They will think Deadpool is Spider-Man.
Okay.
Maybe not Spider-Man. Spider-Man might like
Because Spider-Man's so big,
because
but-
Spider-Man's so big, like Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. But you remove those three.
Green
Yeah.
Lantern.
Yes,
And
and
And beyond.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Green Lantern and Green Arrow, and I put those two
Well, but
pictures in
even-
front of people, right?
Oh, I might not know the difference.
Yeah.
And I've seen the Green Lantern.
For better or worse.
So,
Yeah, for worse.
So, like, it's one of those, like, you're gonna, like, we're nerds, so I remember all these people with all the different powers, right? Like, the average person who's watched all the Marvel movies and quote unquote love them might not be able to tell you all the difference with everybody.
Yeah, I just.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, you have to.
And sometimes like because like there is like BVS, right? Like the Batman vs Superman, there's like the whole bit where he's got Lois held captive, right? And the typical, like, to your argument is like, you are asking for it, aren't you? In some, in some regard, right?
Yeah.
But in the same breath, when you like, and that was how the cut version was. But when you saw the director's cut of it, he was supposed to die. Like, the guy holding Lois was supposed to set Superman up to look like a monster. Like, it becomes part of this more elaborate scheme because the villains have to think a little bit more to be effective.
Have to work harder.
If they're Lex,
Right. So it's just, I don't like when the universe is the way we know it, but with this like pretty significant fucking difference that we're just like not going to address.
Yeah.
So sometimes they do, though.
The significant difference is what allows me to like suspend disbelief a lot of times if they make it removed enough.
No, but that's I'm agreeing with you. Is like when it's different enough and it's at least addressed, then I can be like, oh, we're just in this world. And this is the way things work in this.
Because like in the X-Men shit, it's always Mankind like saying, no more muties and stuff like
right,
that. You know what I mean? Like so that's like an element of like the real world regular.
They're like,
yeah, that they're not living in the same universe we're living in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And it makes sense why they're threatened, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We would feel, that's fucking how
real.
it would go.
That's 100% how it would go.
Yeah. And
but
them trying to round them up in camps and everything else, like that's 100% how it would go.
Yep. Yeah. And then the Magneto thing would definitely happen, and then people would probably get wiped out.
Yeah, and then people would use the Magneto thing as like, look, this is the problem.
But I think, but I think that's all. The unrealistic part of that world is that the mutants haven't just fucking wiped out people.
Yeah, well,
or be on the winning side until the decimation thing, of course.
Well, but that's speaking to the goodness of humanity, right?
Well,
like
that they're also still human themselves.
Exactly. They're speaking to like the Charles Xaviers of the world, which we've had. We've had people of that mind state, in under dire circumstances.
But the difference is
saying don't push back.
Yeah, but the difference is people with power, though, right? it would be like all the oppressors, and in a real life situation, all the oppressors have no guns, and only the oppressed have guns. It would work out very differently, I think.
So
it's not exactly that, but
yes,
you think about it that way.
I don't want to draw too many comparisons and get into a discussion that people will not listen to Nerd Rage anymore. But there are circumstances in the world where where one group has power but doesn't push it, and the other group is powerless but is constantly pushing. So like I think it goes the other way. I think that is it's the same thing. It's nuance, right? Not everybody's going to view it the same way, So people are going to rally to different causes, and I think that's one of the beauties of the X-Men is like, like the sinister, Mr. Sinister, as it were, view.
Put some spec on it.
yeah. Because I didn't want to make it seem like an adjective.
It's funny that it's not Dr. Sinister. It seems like it would be a doctor. Right?
It does. A scientist.
Yeah.
View on mutants and mankind is different than that of Magneto's, which is different than that of Charles, which is different than that of Wolverine's, which is, and like, but it's just like people like kind of aligning where most are like, okay, like I don't agree with you all the way, but I'm 60% there, I'm 70% there. And I think that's fucking cool. That is like the gray, right? Like the truth is that life is fucking gray.
Oh, the truth is out there.
That too.
Well, and what I'm talking about is maybe not just like the superficial part, right? We don't have space travel, right? We don't have railguns and stuff, but the geopolitical problems they have
Are the same.
Right. So that's two related. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong. I love the show. It's a great show. I'm going to keep watching it. But I remember why I stopped taking a break because it's too close to home, too close to reality.
Right.
To where like I see these characters and I'm like, I know there are people like this in real world, right? And I know there are these power dynamics in the real world. It is fiction, but not fiction. And I don't know, man.
That's the best though, isn't it?
But this back to the moral compass thing, like injustice really fucks with me. Not that I can live up to my own compass, like not that I do all the things that I think should be done.
But I think that's what sometimes often
just upsets me.
The point of art, though, it can be not the point because I don't believe there is a point to art, but like or the point to art, but a point can be to kind of frame a real life thing under a different.
So you can have a conversation about
Correct.
it without having a conversation.
The same thing with like the empire being America and the rebellion being the Vietnamese.
So the one silver lining to that geopolitical thing being close is that it's not about race anymore.
I mean,
right? Because there are.
Yeah,
different
it's
people.
tribalism. Like, I mean, it's like that now. I mean, it's not like we don't have fucking Chinese people in America, but we still don't like China, right? Or
Right,
Russia, or whatever the fuck.
But they've dropped racism completely,
yes,
and now it's just where you're from.
right. Which is where
that was like the high school.
That's where race. I said rice. Fuck. That's where race started from, right?
Better you
kind
than
of
me.
like race is a thing before fucking world travel was so easy that race is where you're from.
Right, but I'm saying it's not just race; it's everything. It's like women are completely equal, right? Nobody cares what color your hair is.
Nope. That doesn't matter if you have tattoos on
Doesn't
your
matter if you have
face.
tattoos on your face. Like it's just all just about where you're fucking from.
But we still haven't moved on to what, like, in this world that people still don't. That's the problem. Is that people don't see other people as people, and we have that in real world, right? And that's a normal state, not normal state of mind for everybody, but it's not uncommon to encounter people who can see another human being, but just completely not register that they're on the same level.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
it aggravates me, like, and that's a not strong enough word to like how it makes me feel on the inside when I see and think and know things like these. Like if I see fiction and just see it as fiction, you get wrapped up in the moment watching a piece of media.
Yeah, but I think it's like I don't know.
Like I just let myself get too attached to ideas.
see, Joey's just a true humanist.
Yeah, except he goes to Japan, which is like these people purely think that they're on another fucking level. It's like. And you quite enjoy it. You put your blinders on, and you pretend that it's not this fucking thing that's happening.
I don't pretend they don't have problems. I always have.
No, not having problems, but that they generally see these other people as less than.
Now, I don't know, but I think that's a general nationalist thing.
So I don't know. I don't know. I think that. I think
you don't think Americans think the Americans are we often say America is the best. America's the number one. That automatically, without saying it, is saying everybody else is beneath.
Yeah, but so I don't think
that's a common sentiment.
I don't think that they're the same. Like I think that I don't, because one thinks they're the best and one thinks the others are worse.
Oh well, thinking the other
it's where the mindset is.
It's saying to me it's the same. It's saying things with the things.
Because one is thinking about like let's celebrate how good we are, and the other one is like we don't fuck with them.
But people often not just this. People often say things without realize the connotation. Just like I always said, you praying that your whatever the fuck you want your faction to have, you are automatically praying that the other faction does not. If you're praying that your basketball team wins, you're praying that the other basketball team loses.
But there is a difference between wanting there's a difference between wanting your team to win and wanting another team to lose. There is a difference.
No, it's the only difference because you don't think about it.
No, that's not true.
You're automatically saying that.
No, that's not true.
So
Joey.
you don't want them to lose. You want to win, but you don't want them to lose.
If you let me say it, I'll say it.
Yeah.
Right. If I'm a fan of the Orioles and I want the Orioles to win, I don't care who the Orioles are playing. I want the Orioles to win because the Orioles are my favorite. They're my team. But if I hate the fucking Yankees and I just want the Yankees to lose wherever they go, that's fucking different.
Right. Those are two different things, but they are two different things. But that's not my point. My point is saying you are.
But that's my point. Is that those are the difference in the world. That's a difference between saying we are number one versus fuck them.
And there's also, if I might posit, if I think the U.S. has the best system, I don't necessarily think that the American people are better.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like we're thinking people. There's a lot of non-thinking people out there. There's a lot of NPCs. There's a lot of people who just repeat things or say things and they don't know what they're fucking saying. Right? Most of us, I think most just thinking rational people, if you sit down and talk to them, who aren't just fucking nationalists or something would not be like, yeah, America's just the best.
Right.
I don't think that's the case, but we have the case of people, a lot of people just saying things like that.
Yes. But I don't think they think that way. It's just because of
They don't think. They're not fucking thinking.
I mean, I can't speak for everybody.
I can't.
Like it's like generalizing. It's just another generalization. Because I know people that you were from the outside looking in would think they think that way, but then you have a conversation with them and they're like, oh no, they're just.
So they're just saying things just to say things.
Or, yeah, we're just going through the motions. You know what I mean? Sometimes we go through the motions of shit.
There's a lot of dummies out there.
That's it.
You see that's why I don't know what I don't want to be here. No, again, not this tape. I'm just tired.
It's like I think sometimes you get stuck in this like anime world where like you follow these people that have these direct like views of the world that are so morally exceptional to other people. But the truth is that most people are just trying to get through the fucking day. Most people have good views on things and bad views on things and smart views on things and dumb views on things. And they like good music and they like bad music and they like shitty music and they like corny music, but they like brilliant music. And
corny's pretty good.
some, you know,
They just want to bust a nut.
You know, yeah. It's just like it's not.
It's a repercussion of these things.
It's not this absolute. Yeah, but it's like it's like you can't throw a stone in the water and expect the water not to.
No, and I'm not expecting the world to change for me. The world is just not for me. Or I don't want it to be. How about that?
You don't want the world to be for you?
No, I want the world to be for me. I don't want to be in a world that is not for me.
Yeah, but I think that I think once again, like Joey 3.0 or 2.0.
I don't know where I'm at now. I've been very mixed up lately.
Yeah, but it's like, like there are bad things, but but we're not celebrating the great things either. You know what I mean? It's like when you start looking at, how black these microphones are, you start and they are black, right? You start ignoring how chrome the skull is,
Yeah, but I mean, now that you're saying that, that's unfortunately the way my brain works. That's why my hobbies fall through. No, I'm telling you, this is why
I'm telling you sometimes
I can't finish
sometimes. And you get into these ruts. You get into like I've known you for a long time. I've known you for 10 years.
What
over a decade.
And I keep quitting hobbies or not finishing things because things aren't the way I want them to be, and my brain is not.
And that's not the only reason why you quit hobbies, though, right? Sometimes your interests wane, but
mostly I quit things. I don't finish things because it's not good enough for me. Right. We've had this conversation where like, this is just not what I want because this is not fucking good enough. And then I abandon things or I quit things or like I rage quit things out of frustration. Like this fucking arm is not fucking symmetrical to that arm and I can't make it that way. And I'm frustrated and I quit. So there's something wrong with me. I know that.
Yeah. It's called being a perfectionist.
There's something wrong with that for me anyway. It hinders me from living a fucking happy, healthy, normal life.
That's humanity. We all have those things. We all have these things that keep us from living a happy, full life because we all have flaws and we all have inconsistencies and we all that's just being human.
Yeah, I mean, it's just varying degrees, right? Like some people's problems hinders them more than others, right?
Sure.
Not having one arm is a hindrance, but not having two arms is a real hindrance.
Correct. So but having all your arms and legs is fine.
A third leg.
Yeah.
Sometimes could be a problem.
Rarely.
This reminds me of a famous saying that it takes both rain and sunshine to make a rainbow.
It's true. It's fucking true.
Do you know where I got that from?
I do. So you know the story to that? Where somebody just broke my balls about it here recently. Oh, it was fucking KC. So in my bathroom, there's a frame picture of Lionel Richie. There's a frame picture of Michael Jackson and E.T. And and then there's also on my sink, there's a little picture of a rainbow, and it says it takes both sunshine and rain to make a rainbow or something similar. And Laura and I, when we started dating, I couldn't tell you what the fight was, but we got our first significant fight, like tears, angry, I don't want to talk to you, fight. When we reconciled, I had made some sort of statement about that, look, it's fucking, that's life. Like you take the good and the bad and, and hopefully something good comes out on the other side. And she's like a rainbow. And then she found that picture.
That's perfect. Oh, that's sweet.
And then,
great.
And then, sweet. Yeah. And then gave it to me when I was,
Man, it's almost like that piss was God.
It was God's work. Well, but where does a
that
bad,
had the 60 ounces of coffee I drank this morning.
I don't even know where it was.
But where does a bad rainbow go is the more important question.
I think there's a pot of gold wherever that is.
I know it's IHOP.
Prism.
Bad rainbows end up.
Fuck! Fuck! I walked in that way.
The good news is it's a light sentence, but it still gives you time to reflect.
Son of a bitch! Son of a bitch! I finished Alone Australia, and I quite enjoyed it. I like that kind of show.
This is a
I like that show specifically.
Survivalist show.
Yeah, but like quote unquote, as far as I can tell, is real.
In the outback.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
in
yeah.
Outback. It's in Australia this time.
With the accent, I got it now.
I have really hard time telling accents. I mistake them all the fucking time. I get fucking Krista laughs at me.
Well, the British in the UK sometimes can get tricky.
But not Brooklyn and Australia. I don't know why I get Brooklyn
that
and
one-
Australia
that one's
real
weird.
fucked
That's
up.
crazy.
I know.
I thought you were a super recognizer.
Our faces.
Oh,
Faces.
But the last two people standing were both people I wanted to be there, and either one of them winning would have been fine. And that's nice.
Yeah.
And the person who won needed the money more, which is good. But yeah, I like that show a lot. I think
fuck
that's
that other person.
I think it's one of the more real, like, quote unquote survival, quote unquote reality shows out there. Like you just put a person in the woods and you give them, they're allowed to choose 10 basic tools, and then see how long they can stay out there. I think they were out there for like 70 or 80 days this time.
I show up there like, you brought a disc, man?
That would be Bobby. And then
I would bring a Fifi. Be like, you try making it 80 days without nothing.
I mean, people quit day one. It's fucking wild. I don't know why they're out there.
Did you like Naked and Afraid?
I did not watch it, and I think there was too much drama. I think that was set up, right?
For your
that
mama?
that doesn't seem like a real competition to me.
Okay.
Was it? I don't know. It seemed like it seemed more gimmicky. Where this one is just like, how long can you fucking live in this unlivable place for by
Yeah.
yourself? They have like medical checkup once every while, and that's only human contact they get. A lot of people like just quit out of loneliness. That's how you know it's fucking real.
Yeah, Naked and Afraid was similar. It's just they were naked.
They start naked with nothing,
Yeah.
like not even tools.
I think they get like one tool.
Oh, how long do they stay out there for? Is it one person by themselves?
For the first couple episodes, and then it turned into pairs.
Oh, and you start fucking.
But then like they didn't know each other to begin with, so it was like an interesting like.
I don't care about the human drama of it. That's why I don't watch reality shows usually.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because I, as you can tell, I don't really like people that much in
was
a
just-
general sense.
I was just going to make comments about like that it was always blurry.
Did they stop fucking? Did they always stop fucking? It was always like same.
I don't remember. I mean, I didn't watch it like all the time. I just when it was on, and would catch an episode or half an episode here and there. I don't remember anybody fucking.
They're probably too busy surviving, maybe, or they're just not attracted to each other.
Yeah.
Witcher animated movie. Watched it. Quite enjoyed it. They blended the game with the show, which is a good crossover.
Which one is this?
Witcher.
A Witcher.
They had there was so
I should have said indeed.
it was very nice to hear Geralt's voice. They got the voice actor from the game to voice
What's
him.
his name?
Geralt.
Geralt.
Geralt of Rivia. But they have the voice actor from the game, which is the one I'm familiar with, to voice the character in the show, which was great. Animation was cool. Action was over the top. It's more action high than more stylistic than in the game, but I'm here for it. This animation.
Yeah, that's fair.
Monster Hunter came out. Started playing that.
How's that going? Loving it?
You know what I do? I hunt monsters.
I know.
And I've been hunting solo because I'm tired of relying on people. So like I just like it's more fun really with a group of friends, but like I'm tired of waiting for people.
Yeah, trust me. Relying on people I rely on a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like on a day-to-day basis, I rely on a lot of people, and it is exhausting.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Especially as I've been in and out of Magic, and I've been in for quite a while now buying Magic cards, making decks and stuff. But I've only gotten to play maybe once a month, and we're supposed to meet up weekly. And like yesterday, I was going to go play Magic again, but it got canceled again, and I think I'm just giving up. Like I'm tired of making activities where I have to depend on people. And it's not to say that people are letting me down or that they don't have reasons why. Everyone has real lives and everyone has real schedules. I understand. So I'm just going to take myself out of that situation and not put myself in a place where I need people. And I was listening. Well, we have music on in Baltimore when I work a lot.
Music everywhere.
Yeah, and Gold Digger came up.
Okay.
I remember this one, the first time I knew who Kanye was.
That was one of your first exposures to him?
Yeah, like 15 years ago. Okay. Like that. I was thinking, I don't think mandatory, it never sounds like a good word, like, because mandatory sounds oppressive. What if a normalize, it is normal that when babies are born, they automatically get paternity tests? What do you think about that idea? Do you think it would help alleviate problems, cause more problems, or indifferent? Ooh. And also along with that, automatic prenuptials.
Oh, I guess, yeah, that's fair.
Both of those, because he talked about both of those things, and because everyone always talks about one side of the problem and not the other, and this is addressing the other side of the problem, right?
Yeah. I think, man, I wonder how many lives would be ruined.
Yeah,
over that baby testing shit. You know, I don't know. But I wonder, right? If I
was thinking about it. What do you think would happen?
Omnipotent, omnipresent. I could look at the data of all of it and be like, how many happy, well-adjusted people came from thinking they were in a solid home, and then there was this secret cheating shit going on, and you accidentally have a different father, and you don't know it, and he doesn't know it, and your life would have been completely fucking different. And
I'm not saying retroactively do it, but like just going.
No. I know. I'm just saying. But I'm saying, if you were to take a retroactive one and look at how that life would perhaps, because you never know, could split into shambles.
That depends on if you believe that the truth is the truth and needs to be the truth.
Yeah, well, I guess that raises the question of it, right? Like because it's that person's truth,
but it's not the truth. Mm-hmm. You have a shirt that says the truth.
Yeah,
not your truth.
Yeah, but it is. It's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to stand for. It's supposed to stand for my truth.
Hey, that's not how I interpret your art.
Yeah. Is that because like. I guess what's the over
shitty
under
things, right? It's shitty to. I mean, you don't know what you don't know can't hurt you, kind of thing. But like the morality of it, like you never knew, and you will never know unless there's an afterlife or some shit.
My kids could not be mine.
Yeah, nope.
The older two could not be mine.
Nobody knows, right? Unless there's a test. But like, I feel like. Because there's a problem in society, right? If there wasn't a problem, there wouldn't be a thing. But there is obviously a problem,
right?
And it's
so okay. So I can get out of this. Who mandates it?
No, that's what I'm saying. It's not necessarily mandatory.
Oh, you're just normalizing the practice.
When you're born, babies get blood tests for like any kind of fucking abnormalities, and paternity test being one of them.
Yeah.
Like who's the father? You don't have to ask who the father is to sign the birth certificate. It's already there. It's like not supposed to be a malicious thing, Bobby. It's supposed to be a thing that's a thing. If it happens, you think,
no. I'm trying to get to like who is setting the rule, right?
Who's managing?
It wouldn't be a governmental thing. It would be a from a health care thing. It would be a hospital. It wouldn't be government and taxes and right, shit like that.
But how would they get your DNA?
I mean, they wouldn't. But like. I don't know how. I'll be honest. I don't know how DNA banks work because everyone's had the blood drawn at some point in their life.
Yeah.
I guess it doesn't get stored. But if you're in a hospital setting and it's not, again, a governmental police record kind of thing where they just testing the baby for what fucking
like matches. They could tell if it came from that woman.
I mean, yes. Because that's been a problem before too where like babies get switched.
Yeah.
So like I feel like that's also important to know that you're getting your baby.
Yeah.
But like, what if she doesn't even know?
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like it would be a normalized thing where the baby's
like to even go like, hey, can you come in and provide your?
That's what I'm saying. It wouldn't even be at that point. I mean, you can ask the father to part of the procedure get there, but like, oh, this is part of genetic testing to see if your baby might be predisposed to some kind of.
Maybe she was like, I had a one night stand. I don't even know his name.
But then you don't know. Then you know that it's you know who is as not, right. Like if you run a baby's blood through a generalized DNA bank, it might hit somebody, it might not, right? If you have the father there, of course you can test the father.
Am I liable, like financially?
I don't know, but and this question is, should you?
Just can't believe this. Oh, baby, I don't wanna know. Oh, and if you're creeping, please don't let it show. Oh, baby, I don't wanna know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that I just don't know. I don't know what there is to gain. I think the right way to do it is to request it for paternity tests. Prenup is a more interesting thing.
Both requesting prenup or requesting paternity test, people are offended by it.
Yes,
right.
But because it's a violation of trust, isn't it?
But when, I don't know. I'm making up the numbers. Is 50% of marriages fail? Is that 50%?
I have no idea.
I have no idea. But it's a high percentage.
Yeah.
It's not fucking unrealistic for people to get divorced. It's very normal.
Yeah.
So it's not unreasonable to ask for prenup, but people still like, what? You don't believe that? Our marriage is
I don't necessarily believe in it, even if you do get divorced. So like here's the thing, right? And I'll have to burn this episode down to the ground if my wife ever divorces me. But like, there's like retirement things that I have set up because of my job and blah 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 blah. And if my wife and I were to get divorced, it would more than likely be because I had earned it somehow, and she should get a piece of that because I wouldn't have it without her.
Well, the prenuptial thing is complicated. I'm not saying yours is yours and hers is hers. Like prenuptial agreement usually has stipulation. Usually an agreement of like how
who gets what.
Yeah, and joint properties. Like that's why there's a whole ass fucking lawyer document.
So
with that
you're
shit.
saying so before you get married, there should be a form where you both agree to certain things, and like that it's forcing you to
either that or some kind of standardized thing where like this is a fake world that's not gonna
Right.
So I'm making up the rules as I go.
Yeah,
these forms will be standardized because we know what's right and supposed to know what's
but
right
so
and
like
what's wrong.
as a society, we say like
we're coming up with a fair prenuptial agreement for everybody.
or when you fill out
no. So I disagree with that because I don't think that. I think that I agree.
Like for instance, cheating automatically knows whatever the fuck.
No, but I think it should be up to the people getting married. But it would make sense to me if there's like a checklist.
Yes.
When you get your marriage license, that it's like, hey, we didn't get a copy of your agreement, your prenuptial agreement.
That sounds good.
Right. And it's like, it's whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
We just want you
to be protected.
To think about it.
Yeah.
To think ahead and to come up with what you guys both agree on now.
While you love each other.
And also, so that it doesn't get fucking crazy.
That seems reasonable. That's why I bring it to this table.
Yeah, that seems reasonable.
Because I'm extreme, so I had to put this to the table to get.
Now, if I decided, I was like, you know what, we don't want one, then it's just a like check here, sign here that you both are entering into this knowing that you don't have one.
And then when shit goes wrong, you can't cry about it to your friend. Right. Like if someone come crying to me that like they get all their shit taken, I'm like, there was a standardized form. Did you fill it out? No,
because I feel like
it's the same as getting a real ID.
Yeah, don't.
Like I went to the DMV and they're like, "Hey, by the way, we need a copy of your social security card and your."
Would you like to be an organ donor?
Yeah, like, and I'm just like, "Oh, check, no to this, yes to this." And
so
like, okay, there you go. There's your license.
Yeah, I think
that's good.
Yeah, I like that.
I like that a lot. But it should be a standardized thing for people to think about, and not a special thing to ask for.
And I'm not like in Vegas at 3:00 in the morning, half lit, being like, "Yeah, I love this bitch. Let's do this."
yeah. And because I think like in the same breath as like my retirement situation, like you take somebody that was like similar in sense of when they got hired by their job or whatever. But their wife wasn't really supportive and was doing something else, or was chasing her own career and blah blah. Then maybe she shouldn't be entitled to what you built on your own over here, and vice versa. But in my particular circumstance, and like I said, I'll burn this episode down to the ground if we end up hating each other. But I wouldn't be where I'm at without her. So like she does deserve a piece of it.
What if you had to renew your license every 10 years?
I don't see
your marriage license.
I don't see why not. Just like any other license,
and that prenup that you signed,
you can update it.
My only issue would be does it cost me money? Do I have to pay the government?
No,
every
you have to pay a lawyer.
Every 10 years.
No, you pay the lawyer.
I mean, so in this fake world, say no.
Okay,
and you just had to go through and like that prenup ends, and you have new terms, and you also have the ability at that point to just be like, you know what, I don't really like this anymore. I'm out.
Or
You shouldn't be able to, you should be allowed to change your mind every 10 years on things. I think that's fair.
Here's the agreement, like that, that we said that, each person gets 50% of whatever, and whatever you agreed on. It's like, well, have a good one. Like, here's your 50%. Like, yeah, no, I'm free.
But my only issue with that, I don't hate it from a bird's eye, but is that I've been married for 20 years now, and not all years are of the same value. Not
of course.
And
that's why I get 10 years.
But that's what I'm saying is I would hate for that 10 year to come up when my wife and I were going through a rougher patch, and we made a decision that we wouldn't have fought through.
Like rash.
Correct.
But then again, it's like we're not doing a whole lot as a society to protect people from making the rash decision to enter it in the first place.
It's too easy to get married.
Right.
Like the Vegas thing is too easy.
Yeah, but it's not easy. It's not super easy to get divorced, though.
That's a problem. It should.
So I disagree. I disagree because I think that
you should be like, we talk about this. Like, everyone should just let them make easy ass mistake that they pay for the rest of their life easily. Just like
you walk into the
just like let an 18-year-old sign $100,000
walk into college.
No, I'm just saying to make sure that you're making the right decision now.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, it should be harder to get married a little bit.
I'm saying it should also be hard to get divorced.
But if it's hard to get married, then it should be hard to get divorced. If it's easy to get married, it should be easy.
Exactly. That's why
I'm not arguing easy, hard to get married. I'm arguing it should not be easy to get divorced.
No, but we're just saying
they should be equal. Like, what you're saying is fine. It could be harder. I don't mind if divorces are harder.
Okay,
even though it seems
that was where I got the pushback.
Okay, no.
Okay.
It can be harder.
It should just be like if we're going to make it that.
Getting married is not super easy.
It's pretty fucking easy.
I mean,
I went over to fucking Adam's house and got married. That's fucking easy.
What do you mean?
Like, I had to just sign some papers, and he signed a paper because he's fucking got an internet fucking degree, and then I was married. That was very fucking easy.
Oh yeah,
that's very fucking easy.
The whole Vegas chapels.
Yeah. No, I disagree with all that. I disagree with all that.
Like, the amount of.
So what should it be?
I don't.
And who mandates it? That's my other problem.
But that's the thing.
Because I don't want government telling me who I can marry.
They already are.
No, they're not.
No. They are. They shouldn't have been involved in marriage in the first place. But they are, right? Why is government telling you what is marriage?
So I'm not necessarily against that, but that's where
you can't.
That's where the concept of marriage gets tricky, right? Because because
people think there's different things,
church and state.
Yeah. It's church, state, and also it's just like spirituality. If you love somebody, that has nothing to do with church or state.
No, but I'm talking about marriage specifically.
The institution of marriage,
correct?
Right. So
is church and is
the contract of marriage.
It's often a church and a state conversation, which is why one of the big arguments for allowing homosexuals to get married was that if it's going to be a state thing, then it has to be available to everyone.
Yeah,
and you can't start picking and choosing. So it is correct. But that's what I'm saying is when we start deciding when government gets involved and when they don't get involved, then it does change the parameters of the defining things of what we're talking about.
It does, but if they're already involved, it's not changing anything. They're already involved. You can't be like, I don't want them to be involved when that's already their thing.
But they're not approving it or anything.
But it's still a governmental process, right?
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, so how do you make it more challenging? Do the government come in and interview you and decide if you're compatible?
I don't know.
Because that I'm not okay with.
Well, difficult doesn't have to be like approved or not.
I'm asking.
It could be like you have to wait 90 days.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
You know what I mean? Like,
I think most people.
You can't get.
I think.
Yeah.
I think
something along.
I think most people do.
Right. But I'm saying that's still a governmental thing, right? Who's telling you have to wait 90 days? The government.
Yeah.
You know, who's making legislation?
Actually, if you say that, I'm not good with that.
I'm not good with government having to do. Not good with the concept of marriage being tied to anything to begin with, other than the two people involved, or three, or five. Yeah. I don't give a fuck how many people you want to get married together. You can be a fucking cult if you want to be.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But the government doesn't let you do that already. They don't let more than two people get married.
Some places.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. Utah.
No, I don't think that's.
Or Arizona. There's one state where it's okay.
Federally, it's not okay.
Because it's where they moved.
But federally it's not okay. Well,
Yeah, federally it's not.
Well, marijuana. I mean, they could
yeah,
show separate.
that's a fucked up thing about our government, and also the nice thing about
Yeah,
our
it's a gift
government
and a
too.
curse.
So like, but like, is it okay for like 3 dudes and 1 girl? Or is it only okay with 1 dude and 3 girls?
Right. Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I think that's.
I don't no. I mean, these states that are legal, are they cool with 3 dudes and 1 girl too? I'm not sure.
Right. Well, I guess it depends on what like, and this gets into the woods into a conversation I'm not even sure if we're really interested in. But like, you know, like
I don't know.
it depends. Like, so what tax benefits and what things do you get
And
government wise
that's the
from
problem I have.
marriage?
And
right.
that's the problem I have.
Right. So if you want to completely separate all that, I'm good with that.
Yeah, then
But
you
then
don't even-
who tells you how long you can get married?
But it then becomes marriage is an idea. You have a ceremony, you wear your rings, and you tell everybody you're married, and that's the end of that.
Okay, I'm good with that.
That's where I stand at the end of the day. But because it's already time, I'm only working within the confines of the system we have.
Mm-hmm.
We have to have the government. Lawyers come in because of the government and separate your monies because you can't do it yourselves. You know, because you have to fight over it because you have shit.
Well, there shouldn't be. I mean, like at that point, it's not really a real thing, right? So like, why is anybody coming in and separating money? It's
Right.
just an agreement.
Right. Then you don't. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as prenup if there's no such thing as
Marriage.
state marriage.
Yeah.
That would solve the problem. But like I said, my.
But to me, it's not that big of a problem. Like I don't give a fuck. How about that? I don't give a fuck if you have a bad divorce, right? You made the decisions you made and whatever. Like it doesn't bother me.
Yes.
I'd prefer you not have a bad divorce.
Right, but what bothers me is that people get fucked over by people because of easy mistakes, or people change, or they get fucking conned.
Yeah.
Have you ever had somebody in your life for a long?
Oh, that's right. This did start with Gold Digger.
Yes.
Yeah.
A long time.
Kanye.
Oh,
And then you come to find out they were a different, like a secret agent, fucking undercover person. Like you thought you knew this person, and then 5 years later, they've been lying about every fucking thing. You have no idea who this fucking person is. You never, never experienced that.
I mean, but no, I have never experienced that. But
Really?
Not like that. Where it's like just like you know what I mean? Like that sounds like a movie.
complete lie.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what some people. I mean, when they live their marriages alive, like I have a well-known friend who got a pretty ugly divorce. She was with the dude for 7 years, right? He helped raise her kid. It wasn't his kid. And then comes to find out this, like everyone thought they had it perfect. They thought, she saw it. The kid thought, the kid was looked up to him as his dad. Everything was fucking great. And you find out that he's been just fucking shitting on her and cheating on her for the whole entire 7 years. But she makes the bread. So like, if divorce comes, I don't think she should have to pay for getting fucking lied to for 7 years.
Well, I mean,
You know, that's that part of the problem is like, with systems in place, it hurts people, or if there's no system in place, then you fend for yourself.
right. So, but you know, like I like a lot of systems, I think are
It's supposed to protect people, right?
yeah, and they're initially put in there to protect people. You know, a lot of like especially marriage here, right? The woman didn't work, the man worked.
Yeah.
So it gave the woman a little help when things went left.
Yeah.
You know, but like. You know, society changed now and it goes the other way. But I think we have, cheating and being a monster and all that aside, right? If he's not a bad human being, he's, or whatever, a bad husband. Because he could have been a great father. I don't know. You know, like.
But that's what I was saying. The cheating thing is big. I mean, for the prenuptials, like cheating just nullifies your claim to anything.
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about next episode on Divorce Radio?
I'm sorry. I get stuck on ideas. And
No, you're good.
But I'm actually between the two subjects, I'm more interested in the paternity test aspect of it. I guess it's subjective.
Can I just point out one small thing? With the new table, you won't be able to put that.
No, this
We've
right
talked
there,
about it.
that's gone.
So I
that's
think
gone.
Yeah.
this is gone, but my cup still works.
Yeah,
We have talked
We just
about
have
it.
I just don't want you to get used to
I
putting.
know. It's too late
have
now.
so many
He's going to be the
fucking
one in real
bottles.
trouble.
Yeah, I've
my
so many bottles.
phone. My phone's fucked.
But yeah, that's my note of the week. And my thought of the week because sometimes I have those, and it turns into this.
Hey, I mean that's fine.
I saw White Lotus. I'm watching White Lotus.
Season 3.
Season 3.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite of the. It's not bad, but it's not. It's been my least favorite of the 3 so far.
Okay, I mean that's fair. If it's not bad though,
And it could be good.
it's one of those things when it can't. And I think it can be great, right? If
It could be
great,
good.
then
I don't think I've
everything-
seen anything about
I
it.
haven't, but
Have
they've
you
been
not seen
talking
the first
highly of
ones?
it.
The first one in particular, that first season is incredible. One of the best seasons of television
What's
I've
the
ever seen.
premise?
Each season is a rotating hotel
Okay.
called the White Lotus. It's like a Hilton.
Oh,
and
so it's nice.
Yeah, it is actually. It is to be fair. It's nicer than
not
a
a
Hilton.
red
It's not based
Yeah,
on
it's not a red roof. So you follow these cast of characters that go to this vacation getaway for a week or a month or whatever it is, and there's some sort of drama or whatever that enters into this, and maybe there's a murder, or maybe there's maybe somebody's embezzling money out of something, or they come to find maybe it's a number of things. Maybe it's all good, but it's very, very good. But this third season hasn't been my favorite. There's hasn't grabbed me. There's interesting characters, but they're not doing anything interesting yet, I guess is my issue. My wife's uncle died, Uncle Ray.
God bless the dead.
God bless the dead. Who he was
One of the ones you liked.
he was one of the ones I liked. Yeah. He was a nice enough guy. Never was like exclusive. You know, he was more inclusive. Like would say "hey" to you and shit. You know,
Bobby's measure of a good in-law is that they recognize that he exists.
so I mean,
Low bar.
turns out, I had already asked Laura about the pants. Did I tell you about the pants issue? Okay, so like he's been sick for some time, and I know I need new suit pants. But once he got really sick, I didn't want to be like, hey. Jesus. Should we get me some new suit pants?
So I can attend this ceremony thing that we do when people are no longer with us.
Yeah. So
Pragmatic.
So I was playing the long game on it, and it turns out his funeral is on a day that I'm working, so I won't be attending anyway. If she wanted me there, I would make it happen, but she's not really bothered by it. At any rate, I talked to her. I was like, "Look, I got to be honest with you. I've been stressed about this pants thing," and she's like, "Oh, she's like, you did mention it one night," and I was like, "Okay, good."
Was it a wine night?
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it could have been a super tired night, because super tired nights and wine nights sometimes are.
So have you made plans to go get new suit pants?
No.
We'll just recross the same
But now we
bridge later.
know there's the issues out there.
That's true.
You know, so now I don't have to worry about it. Let's see. My mother-in-law. No issues. But today, on some Mondays, some Wednesdays, and some Fridays, she takes Leia to school. And because I'm not there. So I try to show up after she will have already taken the baby to school, come home, and then left, so that there's just no bullshit interaction. Do you know what I mean? God. Like a insincere bullshit interaction.
Small talk.
Yeah. So I came home today and saw, and I wasn't being as I'm kicking myself because I wasn't being as observant as I should have been. But I didn't. She always parks in the back of the house. I didn't see her minivan. I'm like, oh, cool. And it was well after the time that she should have left. So I was like, perfect. So I backed the car in, and I walk in, and there she is, 10 feet from me.
Parked across the street.
Parked across the street.
I thought she Ubered.
Wouldn't that be something? So I said, hey, because there's no issue. Hey, and we just a little bit of small talk. I said, I'm sorry to hear about Ray, obviously, which I am, sincerely. But she said, yeah, rough, blah, 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 blah. And then, like, she was doing laundry. She was doing my kids' laundry. So she's helping my wife, which is, like, it's appreciated, and I'm grateful. I am. But I literally stood there in the kitchen for, like, 15, 20 minutes. And, like, and so did she. And we just didn't say a word to one another.
Beautiful.
It's healthy.
I mean, in some respect.
Yeah.
I mean, a person I can sit in a room with and not say anything with for 15 minutes is a person I like a lot.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Yeah, that's not
Because
me.
otherwise I would leave.
I would leave if it wasn't my house.
You could have gone to a different room.
But then that feels even weirder.
Correct.
I don't care. You know, why are we playing? If you know you don't like each other or you don't get along, like, why do you have to force yourself to stay in the same room? Right? You already know. Like,
it does, it doesn't change anything, though. It doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it better. It doesn't make it better for me.
Okay. Because I was saying,
doesn't make it better. It's equal. And that arguably worse. Because now it feels like I'm hiding from it.
In your own house.
In my own house.
I get it.
But then it feels weird to be like, hey, can you get the fuck out?
Because
And it's like, can you stop helping my wife
Yeah, like,
and leave?
Hey, I know you're doing like a really nice thing for my
For my family.
but can you fuck off?
Yeah.
I just like to take myself
and-
out of situations where I can.
And I don't necessarily want her to leave. I'd be happy for her to stay. It's just like
It's just
another
a rock
thing.
and hard place. There's nothing you can do.
It's just like I'm just here, and like I know there's absolutely nothing that you want to say to me.
So
You know.
you should have just stayed at work a little longer and had one more cup of coffee.
I should have, but I
If
figured
you
I was
knew.
well in the. I mean, I went well beyond the
Yeah,
scope.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know. Okay, so that's done. We have a 9 Inch Nails Bobby Boogie Bop coming up.
Oh wow.
Oh, nice.
We've done 9 Inch Nails in the past, but it needed to be redone since the format has gotten better.
Did you have an opener and a closer?
So that's the conversation. So I had one before, and
what was the previous one?
There's a closer. There's a song named Closer.
Closer, yes. So before I opened with Wish, and I closed with In This Twilight.
Okay.
But this time I think I'm gonna close with Hurt. And not because it's the song that I want to close with. I just think it's the right choice. And now that I'm like building this library of like these conclusive bodies of work, it seems like the right choice.
How far? I mean, are you covering current new stuff?
I'm not a big fan.
I
of
know,
it.
right? That, and also like because of that, I'm not sure if that's the song to close with. And if you go chronologically, right, and you go through his phases,
yes.
he's not a place where he's.
No.
You know what I mean?
No, but I do think that like the emotional, the most powerful emotional record that you have in your catalog, usually introspective, but not always, is the closer.
Okay. That makes sense then,
You know.
because it kind of changed vibes right throughout his career,
Yes.
and where he is now, and then jumping into Hurt. I don't know,
Yes, but
but it
even-
makes sense the way you're explaining it.
And a lot of this stuff now, I'm not going to be playing a whole ton of it. You know what I mean? Like, because I'll be honest with you, I like everything that he's done up until he did 3 EPs, like back to back to back. Add Violence, something else. There was like 3 of them. They only had like 6 songs on them, and I don't like anything off any of them.
Okay.
But like the album before that was like 2013, 14, 15, somewhere around there, called Hesitation Marks. Like I like that one a fair bit. You know, it's not my favorite of his.
But
I
you
mean,
still
my
like
favorite
it,
is
yeah.
that Special era, but like, you know. So anyway, so my other opener, I got like Closer is his biggest hit, right? So that's an option to open with, and then Head Like a Hole is like an option to open with.
That's
Yeah.
That's what I would have said.
Yeah. All right, and then lastly, I got this from the Joe Button podcast. So I am just jacking this, and I forget the name of it.
credited it, so it's fine. Eh? You're not going to get copyright, right?
Yeah, hopefully not. So I this fucking app. I just think it's interesting. I don't think I could do it. And I don't remember the name of it. It's called like Time Lapse or Time Left or something like this. But you get on this app, you sign up for it. It plots you at a dinner reservation with 5 other complete strangers. And you have to have dinner there. Now, there's a social experiment of this
I think you would love this.
that I find really alluring.
Yeah. But
So 6 people all together?
6 people all together.
That's a lot of people.
now, can you choose the restaurant?
So I have a lot of questions, right? For one, because if it's like, oh, you're going to Indian cuisine, I'd be like, guess who's not showing up to this band?
Racist?
Not because of race, because of flavor.
Not a big fan of the turmeric.
Yeah. You know, and I'm a texture person, and sometimes some of that stuff gets carried away. British food, I'd feel the same way.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Well, I think most people feel the same way about British food.
Including British
food
people?
sucks.
Except for fish and chips.
Yeah, it's the
There's
only one.
always the exception. Everyone.
Yeah, and a lot
knows.
of their like,
I like English breakfast, though, to be fair.
a lot of their like biscuits,
Yeah, exactly.
that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like that stuff's good. Like
Not the
crumpets and
boiled cabbage and shit, though.
yeah, no, hard pass. Anyway, I just find it to be an interesting concept.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
But I feel like if you are into this, you would and should pick these restaurants you wouldn't normally eat at because you get a wider swath.
That's true.
Of experience.
That's
you might
true.
not eat anything there.
Yeah,
But you might have to sit down and have a tea.
Yeah, or I could just get something and try it and be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I tried it.
A Thai.
I was
noodles,
so
huh?
I was going to say I tried this Thai food and it wasn't for me. Was what I was going to say, but it got all jumbled up there. But yeah, like, but I kind of feel like if it was couples, I'd be in.
Like 3 couples?
Yes.
You and 2 other couples?
Yes,
But I feel like, well, yeah, you get different kind of vibes, but I think it's different. 3 couples and 6 non-related people are very different experiences.
Well, yeah, because with the couples, you get to go with the safety net.
correct.
Spouse,
Well, not-
but that's kind of what the whole purpose is
It's
not
to
having-
alienate. Correct. I get that. I get that.
But you also get to see other people's couple dynamics, which is interesting.
Yes, and I can relate to somebody about it later.
Yes.
Like when we're like, oh, and then that I can be like, and then this person, but what do you think about this? And
Well, you
get
could,
like a
you could
bounce
wear a little spy cam and share.
It should probably be an option. Since it's an even number anyway, you want to go singles or you want to go couples? I think
just like bounce ideas and conversation points off of. I don't know.
yell at them with paternity tests.
Yeah, but I do think it's interesting as a as a
Bro, you go to a couples thing and you talking about paternity tests and then the vibe gets real weird. Oh,
Yeah.
you would love that though.
just to impose my will upon them.
No, because something happened in the past, and
or you and your spouse could play an act.
because then that would take away from the experience. I would think.
No, but that
Yeah,
might
but
be
that's why they don't do it.
right,
Because you could go in and
Okay,
you could play this whole character.
yeah,
right.
yeah. Then you just not
Every time she opens her mouth.
yeah. What have we talked about?
In terms of news, not a whole lot, but rest in peace to Gene Hackman. That's some weird shit going on there.
They said no foul play, but 2 people dying at the same time is usually
And the dog.
And a dog.
I didn't see the dog part.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole family.
him
Like,
and wife
No
and the dog.
foul play, gas leak.
so but I think that was my thought. But
And everybody died in the house
I
at the same
think they
time.
found no indication of carbon monoxide.
That's crazy.
But there's there's very few ways an entire house full of living things die at the same time, right?
Right.
With no foul play.
Right.
It's some kind of gaseous thing.
So I'm not
Aliens.
sure if they've ruled out foul play.
I thought they said the full foul.
Did they?
I thought I read that too.
Yeah,
Okay. All right.
And 'cause
Which
I
is why
remember
that's what immediately stood out to me. Why?
seeing that being like, how the fuck do the 2 people and a dog die in the same house and there's no foul play?
Even if there's like no wounds where like they just fucking passed, like the fact that 3 things died at the same time is immediately questions for foul play.
At a minimum, there should be foul play on the dog.
Yeah, why would a dog die?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, now, unless like
Were they all poisoned?
It was like
That's
me.
foul play.
He was trying to kill the dog, but then ended up killing himself and his wife by accident also.
so like I can understand like a group suicide between the husband and wife
Yeah.
or 2 people and then the dog starved to death, but that's like that's not,
That's not likely.
I don't want to think about that. Thanks a lot, Gene Hackman.
Yeah. It's weird though. I mean, rest in peace, great actor.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Shrek 5 trailer dropped.
Seems strange.
No, I haven't.
Strange.
Well, my first question when I saw it is it real or is it one of those spoof things? Because it didn't seem real.
Yeah, no, it's real.
Right, I know it is. But
Yeah.
But the trailer portrays when you just watch a trailer with no context, it seems fake.
Yeah, and like they definitely look different.
Yes.
But maybe that's the purpose. I don't know. It's like I don't know. Some of this shit, I'm like, I don't know how far we need to take Shrek.
3.
I would have stopped it
but
too.
it's too late now.
Right. But I'm just saying, like, that's what I say about a lot of things. Let things end.
Yeah, but sometimes like things, I'm like, man, there's still stuff I want to explore here. But the Shrek world, I feel like I've seen it. I get
You've
it.
seen all of it,
I got
basically,
it.
right?
I got it. I've got it top to bottom. I get it, and I like it.
No,
I like it, but I'm good here.
just leave it alone now.
Shrek 6, like we're gonna try a new recipe.
The Oscars, I didn't really know a lot of this shit,
Man, I never pay attention to.
but I might try to watch some of it because I normally try to varying degrees.
Who won Best Picture
So I'm glad you asked. It was
or what one?
Anora. Never even heard of it.
That's an inhaler.
Sounds like a Bora.
It was up against The Brutalist, A Complete Unknown, Conclave, which I was not impressed by, Dune Part 2, Amelia Perez, Dune Part 2 being nominated for Best Picture or something. I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, The Substance, which I wasn't impressed by, and Wicked. I haven't seen any of those.
Can they all lose?
I saw Dune Part 2. Yeah. So I don't know. I had to watch them to see. So, and then the next one was directing. So once again, The Substance, which
It's like a horror. It's a big deal because it's a horror movie that's like being taken seriously at
Yes.
an award show.
Yes.
Yeah, which is great. Great for the genre.
Yes. Maybe.
Well, I'm not saying the genre is full of gems, but immediately cutting out a genre because of the connotation is kind of not racist. I don't know what the word is.
Genreist.
Genres. There you go. You know,
You can add this to anything now.
If a movie is in the horror category and you're like, I don't know, we're not even going to look at that for awards. It's kind of fucked up.
No, I agree.
It's just like superhero movies was like that before, right? Like superhero movie is not real.
And I'm with horror movies being nominated.
Yeah.
Just not this one.
Especially for like things like director,
Yeah.
right? Like the movie, it's the story itself shouldn't really matter for
Right, that's how I felt about Long Legs. I didn't really like
the daddy.
Not the daddy. Well, Nicolas Cage is the daddy, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was fucking great. But
Yeah, so I mean, like the story
The
doesn't
Substance
matter
was too.
if it's directed as well as it could be.
yeah. So it was shot well. It should be.
And so was Conclave. Conclave was shot beautifully also. It was just
The story's not good.
eye roll. It was an eye roll ending.
It's an Apple product.
I like that. I like that. Actor in a leading role was Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. Actress in a leading role was Mickey Madsen in Anora, which people are. I've seen this online because she was up against Demi Moore.
Yeah, and there was
that's
like
the literal Substance movie taking place
in real life, which is fucking beautiful. I think that's fucking amazing.
Yeah, I did too.
And like people seeing that or not, people not seeing the fucking relation is the crazy part.
Yeah, writer was Conclave, and I'm surprised Conclave didn't win more. Honestly,
Even though you don't like it.
it's just very. It felt very contrived to me, and just the ending. Just the ending.
It's just in the current zeitgeist.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Just about like gender and identity and like all these things. Like you had kind of painted this picture of this whole like kind of like interesting like look behind the curtain of the Catholic Church and all of these kind of really poignant statements you could have made about that institution,
and then
trans you made it about
Pope,
gender and
yeah.
Animated feature Flow.
I don't know.
I haven't seen it. It was against Inside Out 2, which I wasn't impressed by. Memoir of a Snail, which I missed. The Wild Robot, which I've heard a lot of people say great things about.
But not Transformers 1?
Not Transformers 1, no.
It was great.
I agree. It was my movie of the year last year.
I loved that movie. I had a great time.
Yeah, it was my movie of the year. Like, my favorite, like, how long has it been? It's been, I can tell you, since 1986, where my favorite movie has been a Transformers movie.
Only took 40 years.
The Brutalist won cinematography. Nosferatu was in the running for that, which is interesting because that was beautiful.
Yep. Except for his back. Not beautiful.
His mustache?
And those scrawny little legs.
Yeah, he did have scrawny little legs.
Perfect.
Which I don't hate somehow. But costume design was wicked. That probably is well earned. Film editing, Anora walked away with a fair amount here.
What about Wicked.com? Did it win anything?
Certainly won something in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
You got a few prizes out of me, but I tell you what. And then lastly was Kathy Kennedy. The reason why I kept this in.
Bro, it's so funny because you talking about this. People are so happy. Oh, she's getting fired.
Yeah, and I'm like, man, like... So, I
love how like the editorial obviously talk about like she's been in all these fucking things. She's been in the movies for
Yep.
and start listing her accolades.
Yep.
I'm like this guy gets it.
It's like my entire childhood.
Yeah.
You know, for everything from Goonies to Jurassic Park to fucking everything in between. And then like, because of the situation with Star Wars and shit, like people hate on her. And you know me, I hate where Star Wars is right now, but I hold her responsible, but I don't hold her responsible in the same way that a lot of these like clickbait people hold her responsible. Like, I don't think that she's sitting behind a dimly lit mahogany wood room, steepling her fingers, saying, we're going to get men out of Hollywood and we're going to make it women this and pro this. I think that she got out of the way too much. And Star Wars actually needs someone with a clear, defined vision to be like, no, we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know,
it got too all over the place.
Yeah. But so I don't like that she's still there. I think it is time for her to go on. I think
producing Mandalorian and shit. So she's doing more Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, and she's been doing stuff forever. Like, she's earned the right to retire. But she said, like, I'm doing films till I die. I'm not retired.
I like that saying
ever.
I feel like that's specifically shitting on the haters. It's like,
and I enjoyed that
that's
part
like
of
trolling,
it.
I feel like.
Yes, but I do think it's time for her to go. It's time for somebody with a vision, with a direction, with
like
an idea.
Wolf of Wall Street. Like, they're going to get the fucking National Guard to get me out of here.
Yeah. I mean, like, and I just love, like, because they started running. I told you, and like everybody's like, I told you she was getting fired. My inside connection at Lucasfilm told me she was getting fired. Kathy Kennedy is out, and it's like, no, not. I'm going to be around for quite some time.
I have projects on the docket right now.
Yeah, so I
Just got a
love
physical. I'm doing great.
I love that.
Yeah,
and then we have questions.
How would somebody ask a question?
Oh, I'm glad you asked.
You can email us at nerdrageradiomail@gmail.com.
Let's see here. So let me pause it for just a second. Wait for Joe. All right. So our first question is from Tom P. He says, hello, chums. So far behind on the podcast, but fingers crossed all is well and no tragedies have befallen any of you.
I like that writing in, even though he hasn't been listening. It's amazing. Love it.
I have two questions, if you'd be so kind as to indulge me. Without boring you with the details, I'd like to know what you think a 1/12 or more specifically an SH Figuart scale collection would look like in a Maja case.
Have you watched the series called Dummies?
Yeah. I'm, of course, looking at the smallest size, which I believe is the 6 series, looking to get the ones with adjustable shelf options, so the more box vertical rectangles, blah, blah, blah. I guess the major concern being the space is too big. I think the space is too big. That's my personal opinion. I think that those figures are too small for those cases. Not to say it can't be done.
Well, he's getting shelf adjust, like...
Yes.
So you have to make it more shelves.
Yeah, you got to really spice it up. You got
and use the depth because of the figures are so small. You're gonna have to use the depth and height a lot.
How much do these shelves go for?
So these are Billy's. They're like $100.
No. Like
the Maja case is thousands. So like the one that my statues are in out there is a Maja case. Now, the one that he's looking at is the smaller Maja Space or something, or whatever it is, like the smaller one.
Yeah.
But I think the small, like these work great for 1/4 and beyond.
Yeah.
The smaller ones are for hot toy size, 1/12. You're talking about putting
smaller than that
little figures.
I don't. Why
in that big space?
My question is, why do you want Maja cases for those?
So he doesn't say.
Yeah, because there's a purpose for everything, right?
My guess would be it's a classy, easy choice. Like it's financially difficult, but it's.
I mean, it's cheap for what it is.
Sure. But neither here nor there. Yeah. But like, it's a financial commitment, but it's so classy.
It's a great piece of furniture
that you don't need to do a whole lot of work on the backside to spoof it up. It comes lit. It comes with felted bottoms. It comes with mirror back sometimes. Like it comes with all this shit.
Yes,
right?
But right tool for the right job.
Correct.
Like why would you get thousands of dollars of fancy, nice furniture for your small action figures, right? So like
now you
not
have
to shit in your collection. That's what you like. There's nothing wrong with it, but like right tool for the right job.
And Joey has 1/12 scale figures in a Maja case, But I think the fact that like it's not a 1/12 scale collection in a Maja case, like I think you could get away with a shelf.
Yes,
and
not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing. Yeah. Second question. I very much adore the Jedi New Order and Survivor games. Do you think Cal Kestis, the main character, and the crew have a role to play in Star Wars movies and shows moving forward? To give context, by the time the most recent game, he's early 20s, and it takes place timeline-wise the same as Andor Season 1, I believe. That being said, I certainly don't want Disney sticking their snout and ruining whatever the developers have planned for the third game, as I've enjoyed the first two immensely. So,
that's like catch-22, like of like crossing over things.
Yeah.
It helps to ground things in universe, just like I like to see the live action Ahsoka and the Rebels crew. It grounds them into the quote unquote real universe, but then other people have a say on that property and you fuck things up.
I agree. I think it's best to leave them alone. And I'm also, I enjoyed playing the game well enough. I didn't think the story was all that great, nor did I think the characters were all that compelling.
Yeah.
I like the idea they really dig into the Inquisitors.
Yes.
That's cool. And then I liked you get to see where he was when Order 66 was initiated. That was cool, but that would have worked with anybody.
Anybody, yeah.
You know, like so I don't really find him all that compelling as a character, so I wouldn't necessarily be interested. And I think in the same breath, whatever you really do love and enjoy about those games is probably left purest in those games.
True, but I mean, it makes sense franchise building why to have an established name instead of a brand creating a brand new character. Bring in a character that people already know.
Yeah,
it makes sense.
And I'd be okay with a cameo.
Yes, cameos are great.
Something like that.
Good for.
The details of the first question, should you wish to be bored, I'm in the United... Oh, this is of the 112 scale. I'm in the United Kingdom of England, and the display options are wank. Glass cabinet options from the beloved Argos either have shelves too spread apart or too close together without options to adjust. SHF in a DTOF just doesn't look right to me. I agree. Mm-hmm. Although I have seen it done really well. If you look at a guy on Instagram, his name is InstaSam. He has done 1/12 scale figures in a DTOF, and they are absolutely astounding. They're really few, and they're not crowded at all. He's got maybe anywhere from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to 8 figures. They're all on risers. They have plenty of space. They're all magnificently posed. Every single one of them uses like an articulated stand to make sure that it like stays stuck in that spot. Like, it's really well done. It's definitely doable.
But you can't get DTOFs anymore.
Oh, that's true. But the smaller ones probably still work. The new IKEA DTOF, because they're small.
Yes.
You get small
actually,
figures.
That's true. That actually might work better.
Yeah. I'm currently using what was originally a drinks cabinet, but that isn't the final solution.
That's a no-no, right?
Yeah. Billies are cool, but the glass door option is bullocks, and I'm not arsed with cleaning the dust. Cleaning the pots almost daily. Hoovering the carpets when I can't tell what color it is, and showering when my bell cheese starts making my eyes water is enough cleaning for me. I get you. I don't think that Magic cases are the right thing. You might need to look into something custom, because the dust is the issue, right? If you really want these, these figures sealed, which that's another thing. I'm kind of like, man, like.
Not everything needs to be sealed.
Not everything needs to be sealed, dude. But I understand that you have your preference, and I get that. But it's not the Ark of the Covenant. They're SH Figuarts figures, and they're really nice and they're cool,
but they're still action figures. In it.
But they're action figures. They're toys, and maybe let them live a little bit. Paul C. Let's say you're completely on your own for the day at home and you don't have to go anywhere, though you can if you want to. You have no deadlines, so you can legit do whatever you want. What are you wearing around the house, if anything, and what are you definitely doing while you're on your own?
Definitely jerking off.
I'll get a few of those in.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
probably
100%.
2 to 3. I would say
two. To be honest, if I'm being honest, it'll probably be 2 max for me. Once in the morning and then once sometime in the afternoon.
Nah,
I thought the whole day, because it'll be morning, like around the afternoon and evening for me.
Oh, okay.
It's the whole day, right?
Yeah, I guess when he said the whole day at home, I'm thinking about nighttime hours being something different. If it's a 24-hour period, then probably once in the night, once in the morning, once in the afternoon.
Yeah, it's fair.
No, so I had like 3, like 1, and then a follow-up right after.
Right after.
And then...
You got a good refractory period there, guy.
Yeah, you got to make sure the pipes are clean.
So I'm wearing sweats. That's
I'm gonna be in my robe with nothing underneath.
I mean, you could negotiate for that.
Yeah, I'm gonna. And
Bobby's gonna edit 5 videos.
Well, yeah, and that's what I was gonna say.
And record 3 podcasts.
And I would spend the rest of the day working on content. Yeah, just getting ahead. I'm always trying to get ahead, so I can have more time to myself.
Right, you're only trying to get ahead with a bar that you set for yourself.
Yeah.
Which is wild, because you'll never get ahead, because as you get ahead, that's the bar now.
Well, so yeah, but I still get ahead. So in this sense, right? So like, instead of having to work every second of every day, I've gotten ahead to a point now where like I can probably do 1 or 2 things a day and then take the rest of the day for myself to do whatever I want. Whether it's dusting, whether it's cleaning up, whether it's working on music. I've been doing a lot of actually working on music recently that I haven't talked about. I'm really working on something
How the gender roles have switched.
that I'm proud of.
Two of the things you want to do is dust and clean up.
Yeah. Well, it's like get ahead on other shit, like life shit. You know, because like,
Do your taxes yet?
yeah, I did do my taxes. I owe fucking, I think $2,100.
Yeah. I've learned over the years owing is better than refunds, because you have to pay taxes on the refunds. You actually getting taxed double when that happens. You're getting taxed on the money they owe you.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's true.
So like,
But I still don't like
It's
paying.
best to owe a little bit.
Yeah.
That's when you don't want to owe a shit ton because that's a lot of money out of your pocket. But to owe a little bit is better than.
So if I owed under $500, I'd be good with it.
Right,
2,000 was $2,100 was a bit
because
much
like
to
the
swallow.
more refund you get back, the more you're just gonna get that shit taxed again next year.
Or also like that you didn't have that money available to you throughout the year.
I mean, it's just wild that
So if you ever
it's
got to a
considered
point
an
where-
income. They owe you money. They're giving it back to you, but it's your income. It's
Yeah.
Very American thing to hate taxes, right?
Death and
I don't hate taxes is a thing. I hate.
I mean,
yeah.
I think that we do, right? Like even what you're saying, right? Like a lot of
I hate the idea that we have to do our own taxes.
that's
not-
it.
Yeah.
I
It
don't
should
like
just be
that.
like,
yeah, I agree.
You just get paid. Taxes are taken out, and you should have taken it out right in the first place.
right.
I agree.
It's just done.
Yeah.
Startease Pete says, "Hello, lovely boys. Hope you're good. Double gaming question for a change. First, have you heard that Hasbro has signed a deal with Saber Interactive, who developed the most recent Space Marine 2 game?
Mhm. Yeah, they did.
The deal is for, and I quote, a AAA game based on one of Hasbro's tentpole IPs that gives us a chance of a Transformers game, though G.I. Joe, Dungeons & Dragons, Magic the Gathering, and Power Rangers could all be in the mix.
Nah, they've given up on Power Rangers.
Transformers-
Power Rangers been liquidated.
Transformers feels like the front runner to me, but I can see G.I. Joe given Saber's previous games. Any thoughts on what you'd like or think we might get? I'm guessing Transformers.
I don't think it's going to be Magic.
I don't think it's going to be G.I. Joe.
No, it's not. It could be, but I don't think so. It's probably Transformers or Dungeons and Dragons. But Dungeons and Dragons already has a fucking after Baldur's Gate. I know they're not doing more Baldur's Gate after 3, the company, but it's hard to follow up with that.
Yeah, I think it's going to be,
And it's like Dungeons and Dragons is really not an action based kind of game.
and it's about time for another Transformers game. You know, it's been a while.
Yeah,
For better or worse.
You're right, but the problem is the Hasbro was signed. It's not licensed out.
Right.
Because War for Cybertron was like the last good one, right? And
Yeah.
I think that was a licensed out.
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
And
I don't know who did the. I mean, I imagine they're all licensed.
But the third one, Hasbro stepped in, and then we got the.
yeah, but then Devastation was awful.
Right.
But I don't know if they had anything to. They might have just been licensed out also. But it was just like a button smasher is what they call it, I believe. Just it was thoughtless. Look, G1, so people like it, but it was absolutely void of any sort of
Soul.
Yeah.
Much like robots.
Second, for Joey, if he's dragged himself away from Monster Hunter Wilds,
You know.
it's a struggle, I know. How are you finding it, and are you still playing Switch Axe?
Yes, I am a Switch Axe main and always will, or Swag Axe, as we connoisseurs. We get 2 weapons now instead of just one. I mean, you can use all the weapons in the game. That's 14 of them or something like that. But usually people pick a main one. But now on your saddle, you can have a second weapon. So I just have 2 different Switch Axes. Love it. I think
In
it's
case
great.
one gets dull.
They do get dull. You have to sharpen them, but also they have different properties. So, like, I can have a ice one and a fire one on me in case I'm on the hunt and I don't feel like going back to camp to switch weapons. But actually, I run exhaust. Exhaust is my favorite kind of axe. It just tires out the monsters faster, and then it's actually because the graphics has gotten so great and the mocap has gotten so great. And maybe I'm just getting old and soft. I start to feel bad for them. They start limping away and trying to get away from you, and you just and then they lay down and they get tired and look sad, and you just fucking mashing them with your fucking axe.
Sounds healthy.
It's kind of not good. But anyway, I love it. I
I mean,
love the
it's
game.
no less healthy than, me and Grand Theft Auto finding hookers.
That's but that's
and then
true.
killing them.
But like these monsters, it's different if you just view them as monsters who are terrorizing people, right? I don't know.
Maybe they're just misunderstood.
No, but they're just in their ecosystem. You are in the frontier exploring. There's literally frontier, right? You haven't been here. You're exploring. You're going out. And you're finding these things, and they're in your way of exploring. Basically, they're a hindrance to your civilization expanding. So you just start fucking murdering all of them.
Yeah, I mean,
and they're just living. They just.
Right?
This is just where they live. This is just their home.
You're just invading them.
You're just going into the forest to kill these things, and the game is just called Monster Hunter. And monster is just kind of a word you use for things that are bad. Unlike bears, if it's just this like bear hunters, it would sound less good than monster hunters, right? If you're just going out there and killing bears.
BARE hunters would be.
Yes, like Naked and Afraid.
Yeah.
As of now, it's become Capcom's best-selling game ever.
I love to see it because
With
it's
8 million copies sold in 3 days.
It's a fucking niche thing that they fucking grew over the years without compromising what it is, without bowing down to the masses what they want. They like, we have this IP and we're gonna do what it does, and people would like it. Just like the Dark Souls or all the Souls game, a lot of people don't like them because they're not good enough to play them, but it's huge now. It is a bit easier to have some system for quality of life changes, but I don't think it takes away the difficulty at the towards the end game. Like it's an easy point of entry for new players, which is great, but you still have to get good to get good.
The combat is arguably the best it's ever been.
Yeah, smooth.
The new monsters are great.
Beautiful.
But there's some odd choices in the map and menu designs.
Yeah, I mean, it's the first time it's an open world game.
And the food and farm systems suck.
I haven't got started farming yet.
I'm having an absolute blast with great sword and bow and overall loving it. Peace and love.
Hunter ID me. Maybe we can hunt sometimes.
There you go.
If you're on Discord, that is.
And then Thomas J writes in, 7 whiskeys in, and I have a couple of questions. Everyone at the spell table, feel free to chime in. They came up with hanging out, and I was curious about. They came up while hanging out, and I was curious about your guys' take.
Oh God. What is it?
Prince or Michael Jackson?
Why? I think I have to say Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
I think that's
Michael Jackson
just the right answer.
So Michael Jackson
Feels
for
right.
me too, but it depends on what you're asking.
Yeah.
Like, Prince is obviously the better musician.
Yes, 100%.
You can make the argument that Prince is the greater artist.
I think so too.
Michael has more soul. Michael is the greater performer, and I think Michael has the better catalog.
Do you think Michael has bigger impact too?
Yes.
That's where I come in. That's where I come in.
But Prince has a huge ass impact.
It does.
Yes.
But who's bigger? Is the
Yeah, so
question.
I say Michael has more impact on like the listener. Prince probably has more impact on other artists.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, in the same breath that Prince is a better musician, like hands down, I think Michael's a better singer.
Yeah. I can say that.
But ultimately, I'm going with Michael. So Black Sabbath or the Misfits?
Black Sabbath, I would think.
See, I say Misfits.
I'm going Misfits. And mainly because, like, the Black Sabbath catalog gets really in the woods. as like after the break from Ozzy, and Black Sabbath just sort of becomes this revolving door of just, here's some friends I've met along the way.
Randos.
That's who I'm going with. And then a whiskey or tequila. Tequila? Why did I struggle with that so bad? Tequila.
I'm going to say whiskey just because bourbon is a whiskey and bourbon is my favorite.
I'm saying whiskey also.
I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Is it at a bar? Is it at a bar? Can you get
the
it?
job done.
Yeah, I'm not a big tequila fan. Like I can drink it,
Yeah.
but it's
I love tequila.
It's not something I asked for.
But like, I can't imagine a world without whiskey.
Well, that's a good question. If you can only have whiskey or only have tequila from now on, which one would it be?
Tequila.
Wow.
on top or on bottom
Oh, what context?
with whatever it is you like.
Bottom.
Top.
Bottom. Oof.
Yeah, I think that.
I don't have to think about it anymore. The bottom is the right choice.
Oh God, I'll just stick with it. And then he says 7 whiskeys and an orange crush just for you, Bobby Rage On. So thank you. And that is it for today. It's a long one, so to speak. My bad. Shit. No.
As usual.
No, I mean we had a half hour of discussing sexism in the workplace. I think that had a part to do with it too. Shout out to Chris on assignment. Hopefully he'll be here next week. And then shout out to Dante on Facebook, Phil on our notes. And with that,
Flappy labias.
Moist thighs.
Tight dick player. It does feel weird going
without it,
behind
yes.
moist thighs.
Yeah.
It is what it is.